Actually live, about to lock in for today's reveal. It's a big day. NBA 2K27 is releasing in a week, and we got over 100 creators being able to play the game early, get a lot of footage. We're probably going to have hundreds of hours of footage released today. I'm not going to cover everything, but we're going to look at some of the creators' videos, react, and break down some key things, learn systems, mechanics, and see what people are feeling or thinking together. This is more of a chill vibe or watch party, if you would say. Shout out to NBA2k, really great event that they had, and spectacular work by the hosts, Alexis and Chris, the best in the game as far as NBA 2K TV. And you had the community manager, Evan, and some special guests appear. And it was a great event. Been covering it in detail. And right now, we're going in to dive deep down a rabbit hole with a lot of the key things for you guys as we go forward. It's pretty exciting, to say the least. So lock in with me. And for some reason, my live stream is not live, guys. Apologies. There it goes. My camera's not on. Everything is messed up, guys. Oh man. But yeah, so just stick with me. We're gonna make sure all these technical difficulties are fine. One step at a time. Get my camera working, you know what I mean? There we go. We got the camera. All right. Hi, if you're in the vertical stream. Should be going good. We're gonna make sure everybody's locked in for the day and make sure all the channels are functioning and going forward. The things are not live yet. We got less than 5 minutes before the start, and what I'm gonna do is pretty much just watch videos with you guys, break the information down in detail, give you all the key information, chat with the viewers, take some questions and comments. I'm learning with you, so we'll learn together, basically. So that's pretty much the general game plan, for the most part. All right. And I want to make sure that my thumbnails and everything is good on YouTube, because I'm live on many platforms. I'm live on multiple YouTube channels. I'm live on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. Shout out to TikTok. We're live over there as well. We're just locked in. You know me? So join me on this as we go forward. One step at a time, folks. I probably shouldn't put audio, monetization on this, just because people might have music in their stuff. We're going to try and see what happens as we go. But yeah, so the game plan: learn everything, share everything, and help you guys. Also learn everything. Feel me? But yeah, how's the day? How's it going? Are you guys excited? Are you ready? You locked in is the question, because I'm probably not going to do a long stream, an all-day stream, but I am going to do as many hours as I possibly can and go from there. Wait, this is the opposite stream. But yeah, so far from the gameplay, we saw live raw gameplay already, but do not doubt the fact that gameplay already was revealed. But my thing is, this isn't the official content that we're seeing today. Today is straight up content creators. So no promotional content. It's straight up just creators. And we're gonna see their gameplay. We're gonna see Rucker Park for the first time. Play now. There is some my team stuff. I probably won't be able to have time for that today. I'm gonna stick to my career for the most part. So for those that are probably like, hey man, where's my team stuff? We might not showcase that. You know, a lot of content in the game. It's funny because people are like, there's no content. It's like there's a lot. There's too much content. 2K. To fully get into my career, to fully play my team by the end of the year, you know, all the modes, it's a lot. It is a lot. You know. But we're locked in. Literally one more minute, and then we get to see the official reveals today. And if you have specific creators you want to watch with me, leave it in the comments. I probably should have put that in there and mentioned it. If there's a specific creator that you think is awesome that got, you know, good footage at the event that we got a couple days ago, that would be perfect. I would gladly showcase them, as long as they're not like, you know, playing music. We'll be able to watch it with the sound. I think that's good. We'll try. We will see. But yeah, I have a list. I already made a list on Twitter, which I've always had the list. A bunch of people I know, a bunch of people you guys probably know. And then some new creators as well, which I've never seen their stuff. So might take a look also into their content, stuff like that. First one up, if you want me to spoil the story, I'm probably gonna go to Koza, depending on what he has. So I want to see dribbles. I want to understand mechanics. But whoever has the first video of dribbles and mechanics is the one that I'm going to gravitate to first. And then we can do like other stuff, you know, which would be just general play now, things like that, which is just as good in my opinion. Yeah, shout out to everybody coming through. We're almost starting. Just give me a couple more minutes. I'm in the middle of making sure my thumbnail and everything is working. So give it a second. All right. Once I get these thumbnails, we'll go ahead and start watching. I am going to make some video breakdowns with this stuff, so it is kind of me working at the same time. I'm going to capture screenshots of build. Oh, I can't do builds today. Interesting. Got today is more just general gameplay stuff. But yeah, we'll do a video today of wrapping up everything we learned from today's reveal. Should be a good amount of information, people. So check it out as we go. Let me go ahead and almost done. NBA 2k 27. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take somebody's footage today. So we'll see how that goes. TikTok, apologies guys. I'm so new to TikTok. One of you viewers got to interact. A lot of people show up and dip and stuff, but need to be taught how to run this TikTok a little smoother. There's all this stuff in here, GIFs and all this extra stuff. I don't really know anything about, but we'll learn in the future. All right, so it's about time, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and look for a video. put it up on screen and just vibe out for the day, see what type of content is out there from the people I already subscribe to and that I have knowledge that they're good players, great players, and going in. So we got Joe Knows gameplay breakdown that could be good. Got a bunch. Wow. Okay, so there's a lot of great stuff here. Official gameplay. All right, the real NBA gameplay. Okay, wait, hold on. Did we start with Joe Knows? I feel like he's pretty damn good with his breakdowns. Yeah, we're gonna give Joe Knows some love. One of the best players, no matter what you say, he is definitely up there. If you like competitiveness, he does a good job competing and stuff. He has a good crew, people he trusts and stuff. So, all right. So I got his video up. I'm about to showcase it. All right, so let me go and put these videos. Okay. There you go. So that's Joe Knows. I'm gonna make it big screen, don't worry. Give me 1 second, guys. We'll full screen this. Joe Knows. Okay, so here it is. So this is Joe Knows. Might have to shout out to 2K Labs also. Love those guys. They've always been really nice to me. I'm gonna have to make my screen gigantic. Not looking good for my. Did I just make me smaller? All right, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna double up. All right, so I'm gonna do double screens, guys, and then make my camera small. Let me put the camera up. There you go. All right, so we got a double screen of this. There you go. So far, he hasn't really said anything special.
Well, you might see different size green windows. That's probably because they were playing on lower difficulties. I put it on the hardest difficulty the whole time so we could get a real read on what we're looking at. But, as I said, we could not turn on shot feedback, which was really frustrating because the main thing I wanted to see after 2K26 was how is that new shot contest and hands up and everything that we talked about, how is that looking? But not being able to turn on the actual shot feedback so we could see the visual feedback of the contest is tough to be the judge. I could sit here and tell you it felt better, it felt worse, this, that, and the third, but without the feedback, it's a lot of guessing games. The one thing I will tell you is that aggressive hands up versus passive hands up, the passive hands up, I felt like I was getting scored on anytime I tried to use it. Even in the paint, on the perimeter, anywhere I used the passive with the right stick that Mike was talking about, it felt like it almost felt like a waste of time. Like the AI was scoring on me every time. Maybe that's just an AI thing. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? The AI sometimes are really good at timing layups and close shots and things like that. But the aggressive hands up, that was something that I felt like it was a noticeable difference in terms of how many stops I was getting. Perimeter and paint.
This is Rucker
felt like
Park,
the contest on the aggressive hands up was like much better than the passive hands up. So, you know, again, it's tough to actually judge it without the feedback being on and seeing what the actual, you know, those new 8 stages of contests.
I wonder if he's playing against AI.
open,
assuming it
bothered,
is.
semi-open, smothered,
Has to be,
light
'cause there's no
contest, heavy
PvP on
contest,
it.
all the things they showed in the news. Without having that on, it's tough to be, actually give you a
Window's
good
small.
assessment. And that's disappointing because obviously I go into community day trying to get as much information for you guys as
Keeps talking about
possible.
the shot
And the main
feedback,
thing I wanted to see in the
contest
gameplay
feedback.
was
It's
the shot
not- it
contest.
wasn't
But as I
there.
said, we could not see the shot contest in
He's
Play
been
Now,
saying it for
Rucker
like 10
Park,
minutes.
and
4
2KU. We
minutes.
could not change our gameplay HUD, right? We couldn't take the meter off. We couldn't put on the shot contest feedback and all that. But tomorrow, the embargo lifts on the builder, my player gameplay, things like that. In there, we could change the gameplay HUD. So in there, you will be able to see contest, but obviously I'm not allowed to
Basically, wait
speak
until
on that
tomorrow
side
is
of the
what he's saying.
gameplay. I'm not allowed to show that side of the gameplay until tomorrow.
There's an embargo until tomorrow. For the
I'm
My
only
Builder,
allowed
so
to speak on the gameplay here, and obviously,
he's
like
talking
I
about.
said, we could not put it on here. So that's about it. In terms of shot contest, that's about all I can say. So let's move on.
That's a
Now let's take a
5-minute
break and talk
shot
about one of the new
contest
features, the
breakdown.
step throughs. I'm not gonna lie, I like this. You could do it in the paint like that, like I just did with
That two's gonna
SGA,
be
but you can
crazy.
also
I've
do
been
it on the
talking about this
perimeter
in the
now,
new
as Mike
meta.
said. You could do it any direction.
Oh my
left,
God,
right,
that's gonna be
forward,
nasty.
backwards, and I ain't gonna
Oh
lie, I
my
like this.
God.
It's a creative way to get to a
Oh, yeah,
bucket. It's just
y'all
another thing
cooked.
to add to your bag.
You
We'll
might
see how
start off with
effective
a
it is
post score.
online, person
I
versus
had
person
not
and
started
whatnot,
with
and
a
what
post
people can
scorer in
come
my
up with.
life in 2K, but this might
But
be the year.
just the way it looks and the mechanics behind it, I feel like it's smooth. The way it works as you would think it should work, if that makes sense. These clips in the 2KU are from my boy Joey 2K because I got a couple clips like the SGA
Joey
one and
2K
stuff, but I didn't
cooking
get as
out
many
here.
as I
Shout out
wanted.
to Joey
So
2K.
shout
We
out to
gotta
him
watch
for
his
sending
stuff
me
in a
these
minute.
clips so y'all could see a little bit more here. But I
Really
really like the
good
way things
Kobe's.
branch out. It's smooth. It really does look the
This
way
is
you
all
would
you
want
need
it
right
to,
now. Oh
in my
my God,
opinion.
post scores are eating this
off
year.
the triple threat, whether you're doing like the reverse spin, like he's doing it with Kobe because it is like really some Kobe, some Kobe stuff. But it's just cool. I do really like
Definitely
this.
Kobe
A lot of
style.
times when they add new
Oh,
features, I'm
baby.
kind of like the rap.
We might start off with a Kobe build,
Since
y'all.
the dawn of mankind,
Shout out to the
Humans have had
commercials. You know what? We're gonna make a video. I need to get premium on this.
Whatever. But like this, yes, like I could get down with this, and I think it's gonna be. Oh my God, we're still hooking from the 3-point line. Jeez, Joey, we are. We're definitely going to see people utilizing this, and I think people that master it, it's going to be something crazy. Like, it's going to be a way that, like, I don't want to say bailout, because obviously it takes skill, you have to time it, but, like, it's going to be a way to get, like, a bailout bucket. Like, the defender play good D, or they, like, you're long running to the right, and you pump fake a fade, and they overplay and they jump, instead of just, like,
Ooh, that
waiting or
dunk meter's
Kobe jabbing,
pretty
like a lot of people
strong.
would
You
do
see the
last
dunk
year.
meter?
Now, like, you could branch back into a step through into a shot, and like the green windows on it felt like very greenable. So we'll see how it feels online when you're playing against a real person, but I do think there's a real possibility that like it actually is effective in online gameplay, even if you're like a more competitive player. Like definitely in casual modes, it definitely, rec and stuff, people are going to get down with that, but I think even like competitive players in Pro-Am are going to utilize the step through a lot more than a lot of other new features that have been added in throughout the years. Let's move on to dunking.
Good
Meter
block.
dunking, the dynamic dunk
I'm a
meter that's going to
nasty
grow
dunker,
and
so
shrink all the way
See
through
what he says about
the
dunks.
gather, all the way to the finish, all the way through the full dunk, right? Yes, it does do that. I can confirm that, as you're going to see. All right, right here, Kobe driving on Steph, Euro step into the meter dunk. Let's slow it down so you could see the meter. When he's between me and the hoop, it
Oh, I
starts
love the
small.
Euro.
Then it even shrinks a little, but then once I Euro step past him, it
Ooh.
expands into a really big meter.
Damn,
But
that
let's
meter's
continue with
nice.
dunking. Again, it felt like size mattered, like height matters in terms of finishing,
Oh, yeah.
and it's been like that for years.
playing
But, like,
offline, so you
somebody
can't
like
judge
Giannis,
this
for
until you
example,
play
here's a
against
play now
another
clip of
player.
Giannis. He's an absolute monster.
Oh my
Now, obviously,
God,
it's
Giannis.
Giannis. Like his
Giannis
stats are
about to be
cracked.
crazy in
and
this year's
he's
game.
6'11" and all that, but he like height
every game.
It was definitely easier to dunk with like bigger slashers than smaller slashers. That's not to say smaller slashers couldn't dunk. But just, I'm just comparing it to past 2Ks where definitely height mattered in terms of your green window on dunk meters. It's like that again. It's definitely bigger dunkers are going to be harder to stop than smaller dunkers. But let's continue. Something else I noticed with finishing in general, but since we're talking about dunking, I'll relate it to dunking. In past years, I felt like interior, it mattered, but it definitely wasn't like a necessity. A lot of power forwards or centers were going, you know, low interior, and like as long as you just got between the guy and the hoop, you know, you could stop them very consistently. Even small guards like in Pro-Am and stuff, they would swing down out of the corner and stop the other team's center and shrink his dunk meter, even though, you know, it's a 6'4" guard with 25 interior and a 50 block, and the center's driving with, you know, really good finishing ratings. And it was just like, if you got there, you got there, and it didn't really matter the ratings. On this game, it felt way different trying to dunk on Wembanyama or Dennis Rodman or somebody with like really good interior, as opposed to like dunking on Steph Curry. Like it almost felt like, maybe because of that new wall-up badge, they're really trying to make like the interior rating matter because they want people to use that wall-up badge. I'm not really sure, but typically dunk meter size was more about angles than it was about ratings. But in this game, it definitely felt like the ratings were playing a bigger factor. And maybe that was because I was playing against the AI, and full transparency, I don't play against the AI very often. I pretty much do it once a year, and that's at community day.
A problem.
But we'll have to see when it's person on person. But for the most part, from what I felt playing the game, the community day version of the game, it felt like interior definitely had a big impact on how easy it was to finish on somebody or how difficult it was to finish on somebody. To go along with the other factors, of course, you know, momentum, angle, positioning. And it's not to say it's impossible to stop somebody going to the basket. I mean, this is Tyrese Maxey stopping Michael Jordan going to the basket, and you know, Tyrese is what, 6'1" and low interior, low block, so it's not impossible. Obviously your skill and the way that you play it and the angle you take and all, and the timing of the jump and all that still matters. But another thing I noticed with dunking, if somebody was just like in the restricted area and you were going downhill full speed at them, like you would put them in a poster and it would be greenable. I feel like in past years, like unless they were way under the hoop,
that green window opens,
you'd get a decent window if they were way under the hoop. But if they were just like in the restricted area, a lot of times you would drive and like it would shrink your meter down all the way. When like in real life, it's like if they're standing under there and you have a full head of steam, you know, you got Michael Jordan running at you full head of steam, like you're in trouble. You know what I mean? A lot of dudes in real life would just bail out of there. And just, you know what I mean? I'm not getting put on a poster. But in 2K, it was like your meter would shrink a lot of the times. It was definitely a noticeable difference in terms of if they're just down there in the dead zone, you could just go up and boom on them. But again, like if Wemby was down in that dead zone, it felt like it would shrink. So I don't know. Maybe that's just because Wemby's 7'4". Maybe it's the interior rating. There's a lot of unknowns. But overall, the dynamic dunk meter definitely worked. It was shrinking, it was expanding, it was shrinking back down. It was overall dunking, in my opinion, it felt really good. Like honestly, maybe even too good, but we got to see when it's person versus person how it plays out, because it's always a little different against the AIs. But let's move on. So since we're on the topic of dunking, let's talk about standing dunks, kind of big man, paint scoring, post scoring. I'm going to encapsulate it all into one section, all right? You've seen a little bit of post scoring in this gameplay, like trying post spins and stuff with Kobe and Jordan, LeBron. You'll probably see some more as the gameplay goes on. But now, besides Joey post hooking from the 3-point line for the second year in a row at Community Day, the step throughs are definitely something big men can utilize, but let's talk about paint mashing, right? Dead zone. Can you really mash something? This is Bam mashing and contact meter dunking with the standing dunk.
Yo,
but
that's
just for perspective, that defender from the Knicks has a 50 block and a 50 interior. Now, on the flip side of it, check out this clip. Giannis going against Jason Tatum right here. Tatum's got 81 interior and just walls up and takes Giannis out of a dunk and makes him miss the layup. Now, this gameplay is from Joey 2K, so I think the difficulty he said was on like All-Star or Pro. So it's a lower difficulty than what I'm playing on. So like the green window size of like that layup was definitely bigger than it would have been on Hoff. But again, like check out, this is back-to-back possessions here. Joey's trying to just rim run through Tatum, and Tatum with 81 interior compared to that 50 we just saw for the guy in the Knicks. Like, it's just a massive difference in terms of the animations you get. Like, it's just an absolute stonewall as opposed to just like going through them and just, you know, getting, you know, a push through and then your meter growing because now you're at the rim wide open. It's just, it felt night and day difference in terms of players with low interior versus high interior. We'll see when it's person on person, obviously. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt because it's against the AI. But it's just what we felt. And it's not that like when somebody had high interior, it was absolutely impossible to like finish
no
on them.
stamina,
Pause.
still trying to make a
Like
play.
I think there was actually a dunk earlier in this game where like Giannis was in the dead zone and I dunked on him with Kobe. So it's positioning and you know, timing of the jump and all that still matters for sure. But the point of this is just talking about meter dunking, driving, standing, paint mashing, and then also interior defense. And it just, the overall feeling
right now, the
was
meters
interior mattered more than it has in past years.
From
So
everything I've seen.
moving on, let's branch over to layups. Layups also felt really
tiny,
good, and this is the perfect time to talk about it. So let's slow this down. I mean, again, it's against Steph, who has low interior and he's smaller. But this is on Hall of Fame.
I know that's Curry guarding him, but that's a lot.
Huge on that layup over Steph Curry. But I also just want to be clear, whether it's dunking, layups, it's not impossible to get stops without, you know, a high interior. Like right here, another Kobe versus Steph clip. He beats me to the spot,
that's
walls
beautiful.
up. It's a tiny green window I miss. Positioning, timing, whether you're using the aggressive or passive hands up contest, all that stuff definitely felt like it mattered. But overall, layups felt really effective. And again, maybe it's because it's against the AI. You know, the AIs guard things differently. I know I keep saying it's like, I just want to reiterate, everything here is like how it felt against the AI. Obviously playing against a human being is going to be different, but I'm just talking effectiveness, green window size, things like that. Like even the computer, there's times where I feel like in the past, in past 2Ks, I could bait them into a layup and then just block it, and it was definitely not as easy on this game. Like that technology Mike was saying, where like if you have a high layup rating, your player will like automatically try to avoid the shot blocker's hand. Like definitely notice that. Like I'm trying to chase some of these gameplays in Blacktop. I'm trying to like let Steph go for a layup and then try to chase him down with LeBron, who has like legend high flying denier, and like no, like I definitely got a couple, but like there was a lot of possessions where like he would just like kind of maneuver the ball away from me and lay it up. And
wait, Kobe Bryant's
just
step back
overall,
and Vince Carter's step back
felt really effective. Everyone that I talked to, they felt really effective. Every time I went for a layup, the green window was very timeable. Now, obviously, I'm playing on players with really high layup ratings. I think LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan all have about a 99, like close to a 99, somewhere between 95 and 99 layup. And obviously, Steph Curry has high layup. Like most of the players in the play now that we were using and Rucker we were using have really high layup ratings, so that could also be a factor. But everyone that I talked to, obviously can't talk about the my player stuff. I was about to slip up and break embargo, so let me chill. But everyone that I talked to, they all agree that layups felt really effective. We'll have to see how it feels when we actually get out there and it's person on person, you know, park, rec, pro-am, all that stuff.
Instead of just going for dunks every play,
that was the consensus from playing against the AIs in these game modes. So let's move on. Next thing to discuss. Let's talk about shooting in general, right? Mids, threes, fades, hop jumpers, spin jumper. Let's talk about all that type of stuff, okay? So first things first, middies definitely felt a lot easier to green than threes. Threes obviously you could green. You already seen a few in that Rucker Park, but let's talk about this, bro. Obviously we can't see the contest, but under his feet the defense thing registers red, so like it's definitely like the defender is bothering me and I just right over him and green it. So definitely making contested shots are still possible. It was also a little tough to assess shooting because I could not take off my shot meter, and I don't know, maybe some of y'all still like playing with the shot meter, but to me it just like I gotta have my meter off so that I can really like feel right. And the fact that you couldn't see shot contests also really affects like what's a good shot, what's a bad shot. Obviously the easy, you know, what's the obvious ones you could tell, but it's like on 2K26 there's a lot of shots if you had no shot feedback on, you would look at it and be like, oh, that was a bad shot, and then it registers open. So the shot contest system matters a lot in terms of assessing shooting. And the fact that, again, it was really frustrating in my opinion. The fact that we couldn't see the shot feedback in these modes was just, it made assessing shooting overall very difficult. One thing about shooting that I really do like is the fact that they split up the mid-range and three-point shooting badges, kind of like how it used to be, you know, back in the day. But in recent years, it was just like you had shifty shooter. That was for moving threes and moving mids. So you could like go high mid-range and still have shifty for, you know, the moving threes, or vice versa, you know, high three-pointer and then still have shifty for your mids. It's like now you know, you could be an average three-point player and an elite mid-range player, or vice versa, because, you know, the badges for those specific shots are now tied to the individual badges, which I think is a good thing. Hopefully should promote a little bit more diversity in kind of gameplay, play style. Like, you know, if you want to be an elite mid-range player, you gotta upgrade your mid-range, not just like go high three-pointer, decent mid-range rating, and then you got the legend badges to go with it. You know, you kind of gotta commit to the way you want to play a little bit more, at least theoretically. We'll see how that plays out. Obviously, can't really discuss builder things and that until tomorrow, but overall, I think splitting up the badges is a good move. I think it makes more sense.
VC.
All right, as I go for this blitz steal, it's a perfect time to transition over to perimeter defense and bump steals and all that. In my opinion, they still felt really inconsistent. I'm not saying I didn't get any. I got a few, but some of these examples that I'm showing here, I don't know. Like, I'm committing. I'm not even playing defense. I'm just going completely on that side. I got Michael Jordan, 99 overall. He's got like 90 plus steal, whatever. And he just bobbles it and ends up getting a 3 off of it. I understand that you know, we're talking about, you know, ratings mattering, ball handle and steal, but I mean, this is, if we're talking ratings matter, I mean, that's Michael Jordan. He's got high steal, right? This is prime MJ. He's got high steal. The ball goes through me. Prime Kobe. The ball goes right through me. You know, maybe user on user it'll be different, but I feel like in those instances, there's no way I'm not dislodging the ball. Like, the first one, it didn't even make him bobble it. Tyrese just kept dribbling through me. And the second one I showed,
is a good ball
he bobbled it a little, which then ended up putting me behind him, and he got a wide open 3. I got mixed reviews from people when I talked to them about bump steals. Some people, you know, thought they were good. Some people thought they were bad. In my opinion, they were still really inconsistent. And I felt like, you know, those two clips are perfect examples. Even the clip they showed in the trailer, the gameplay trailer where they showed Kevin Durant, I'll put it on the screen right here. Like, I don't know. Like, in my opinion, you should dislodge the ball there. Like, you're rewarding a bad decision by the ball handler by allowing him to get away with that. Perimeter defense as a whole, though, overall, it felt more sticky, more bumpy. Like, when you attach to somebody, it felt a lot, you know, I feel like sometimes in 26, it felt like they were, like, covered in oil, and they would just kind of, like, slip past you if they, like, wiggled their left stick a little bit or something. You see, like, it feels like there's a lot more. Once you attach, like, you know, especially, you know, some of these guys, like Kobe, MJ, like, they have really high perimeter. So, you know, obviously that probably plays a factor, but it wasn't impossible to drive by people, but it felt like when they cut you off, they really cut you off. It wasn't just like they cut you off and then you could like wiggle and slip through. It was like, well, okay, if you get bumped, it's almost like you kind of gotta like gather yourself. But like right there, like, you know what I mean? Like LeBron turns the corner and like, you know, they're not like dragging you backwards. Like once you turn the corner, you turn the corner. But overall, it just felt like it felt a little more sticky. I guess that's the best way to describe it. Like right here, like you see, like I'm attached, I stay attached, I stay attached, I stay attached. Now, obviously, again, I keep saying it, I'm sorry, but it is against the AI, against the human being with optimized SIGs and my players and things like, and once everybody learns how to dribble and all that, we'll see. But against the AI, definitely felt a bit more sticky, a bit more bumpy. Felt like you could cut people off better as they tried to move if you know, beat them to the spot. All right, let's shift to dribbling. First things first, it's tough to assess dribbling on play now because obviously with our my players, we optimize the SIGs, we get the dribble style that gives us the good burst and all that. Obviously on play now, you're stuck with the SIGs that the NBA players have. So first reaction to it, a little concerned about the burst, but as I said, you know, with our my players, a lot of times, you know, we just find whatever dribble style gives us the burst, you know, the best burst, and we use that, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, I'm moving the way I want to move a little bit more now. Obviously in play now, you're using the dribble styles that the NBA players have. So I don't know, some of the speed boosting, it didn't feel super explosive. But again, that could be dribble style related, and that could be fixed when we get our my players. Obviously can't discuss my players today, so I'm just basing this off of the play now gameplay and the Rucker Park gameplay. But that was the first reaction, like, okay, I'm not really bursting how I want to burst. Chaining dribble moves together definitely felt really smooth. Fluid in terms of being able to branch out of things and branch into things. Obviously, I'm not like a super duper dribble head. I'm not Steezo or anybody like that. But, you know, I play guard and have a lot of success even at competitive levels playing for money. So I can assess it a little bit. But I did talk to some of the better dribbling content creators that are at the event. You know, I'm sure, you know, they're all Dirk, Chappa, like Koza, they're all going to be posting dribble stuff.
I was limitless, and
they had some concerns as well. You know, they had a little concern about the burstiness, and it wasn't super explosive. But obviously, as I said, it's like you got to wait to be able to put dribble styles on to really assess the burst. Because a lot of past years, you know, the bursts were fine, but that was because we found the dribble style that gave it to us. You could quick stop. The quick stop I found was the LT quick stop right there that I just ran to the wing with Kobe. You know, just tap LT, it set my feet instantly, and I was able to shoot. Did it a few times. It worked pretty consistently. You know, maybe we find something better, but definitely I think we're going to be able to find a way to peak and quick stop threes. Just like past years, it might be, you know, last year was flick up. It might be something different this year, like LT, or maybe we find a better one. But should be able to quick stop and set your feet. So everybody that's looking to shoot peaks and stuff, you should be back in business with that. Next, let's talk about AI players. It was something they said that they enhanced, and I played against the AI quite a damn bit, so I can give some good insight on this. The AI is so much better. They definitely play better defense. They hawk passing lanes. Like if you throw any type of questionable pass, they were picking it out the sky. Pick six going the other way. Obviously, like I said, I played on Hall of Fame, so that's a factor. But they were like really, if I left them open, they were really consistent in terms of like layups and close shots. Like they would make, I don't want to say everything, but it felt like everything they would make. The AI seems really, really improved. I ain't gonna lie, we might be back on that thing where it's like you go to random rec and you're hoping your teammates quit because the AI is better than 85% of the people who play the game. Like we might be back on that. Obviously, like I said, it was on Hall of Fame slider, so I don't know if like when we play rec or something, I don't think the AIs are gonna be on Hall of Fame sliders.
They can't shoot, they can't play defense. Like
the Hall of Fame computer was very improved. Like obviously we don't know like all the cheese against the bots. Like, we might find something like, you know, it used to be the jab step or the no dip. Like we might find something that works against the bot all the time, but the old stuff that works against the bot, not really. I mean, you can kind of get them sucked into screens sometimes a little bit too easily and like get like a snatchback three off or something. But overall, like compared to how it was, it's not just like last year where you could just throw it to somebody and just shoot the ball. Like the bots were playing that. You couldn't just do a jab step and shoot. Like the bots were playing that. So obviously we know how the community is. Like people are going to try to find something else, and once somebody finds it, like everybody will cheese that. But the old cheese that everybody was doing last year where you just throw it and shoot a catch and shoot over the bot, from what I saw, obviously again, I don't have my player jump shots on. I'm using NBA player jump shots and all that. Nah, like they're guarding that now. You're gonna have to find something else. That's a good confirmation. The jab step, no, like they're not just letting you jab step and then shoot a completely wide open three. All that stuff that was driving me and y'all crazy in random rec when people would quit, that stuff has been fixed. All right, real quick on passing. I'll be honest, I did not pass the ball that much. Like obviously, you know, I'm controlling the whole team. I will just say some of the passes definitely felt floaty, but to be fair, I don't know everybody's pass rating, so it could just been like some of the people I was passing with had low pass accuracy. As I said about the AIs though, like if you throw a pass near the AI, they hawked it. Right there. So I think passing lanes, unless it's just the way the AI plays them, I think you're gonna be able to get real hawky in the lanes if you're playing it correctly. But I didn't throw a lot of like break passes to test break starter or anything, because it's just you know, when you throw it to a human, the human is leaking and you're able to like really throw it down the court. When you're playing like Play Now or Rucker, like your teammates are not like running the break, you know, they don't leak out to get a break starter pass. So it's kind of difficult to test by yourself. The next thing is the takeover system. In my opinion, it is just so much better. It's so much more logical.
I'm happy about the takeover system.
The days of dunking the ball 5 times and then popping deep bomber badge are gone. You know, the PG coming up the court, passing the ball for 6 possessions straight, and then all of a sudden, you know, he's got his sharp takeover, and now all of a sudden he's looking to score. Like, you get takeover from what you do in the game. Obviously, if you saw the news, you knew that. But now it's like if you dunk the ball, you get finishing takeover. If you're passing the ball, you get playmaking takeover. If you're shooting the ball, you get shooting takeover. Just so much more logical, and it really means, like, you know, depending on how you're playing, that's the type of takeover you know, you're going to take the game over with what you're doing. It's just, it seems like such a simple fix, but it's been years I've been saying this, that that's the way it should be. You should be getting takeover in the way that you're dominating the game, and that's finally how it is. You've seen a couple here, I think, in the Rucker Park gameplays. I had it with Kobe right after I got a couple dunks. I got that finishing takeover. Seems like a really simple change, but in my opinion, it's a big W. I think it was long overdue, so that's beautiful. And the last thing I'll touch on is the fact that 2K made the announcement that they are addressing the cheating problem. I really hope they're able to. I think it would just, it would bring a breath of fresh air to not just competitive modes, but casual modes. I mean, the cheaters were everywhere. You know what I mean? I posted multiple videos playing against them, streams against them. Like, it would just be a breath of fresh air if they're actually able to enforce the punishments that they're talking about and really like find a way to eliminate this whole problem. I think it's going to be easier said than done, but it was nice to hear them actually address it and make us aware that, you know, obviously they're aware of it, they're working on it, and going into 2K27, they are ready to try and combat these cheaters. It's a beautiful thing to hear. But if y'all want to check out an hour of raw NBA 2K27 gameplay where I'm using multiple teams, multiple different superstars, and test.
All right. So we're going with the American Express Platinum card. Let's go to Chopper. There is a video upload yet. There it is. Everything you need to know about dribbling. This is gonna be a good one. This is a 7-minute. That's it. Okay. All right, let's watch it.
What's good, y'all, man? My name is Chopper, but I go by Chopper, you feel me? And we finally made it to NBA 2K27. I did get invited to play the game early at Community Day, so I do have some raw gameplay for y'all. This video will be covering your questions that you asked me on Twitter and my honest thoughts about dribbling as a whole. Last thing before we get started, I need y'all to get this vid to 1K likes and stay tuned for a surprise. And without further ado, let's get into it. The first question this person asks is there a speed boost and a quick stop? Yes, there is a speed boost and a quick stop. The quick stop this year feels the same like 2K26. The best way to do it is by letting go of everything and tap L2, which is similar to 2K24. The speed boost is very similar to 2K26. With Ja Morant, you can see I'm getting a speed boost. Another thing to take note is that play now felt slower compared to other modes we got to play. So therefore, the speed boost looks a little slow. This next person asked 4 different questions, with the first one being, if you can run out of moves at all angles, or answer would be some animations are canned, but the really good animations allow you to control exactly how you run out of that move. For example, Curry Escape literally has like 5 different run animations out of his escape. And in my opinion, he has one of the better escapes in the game. Next question this person asks, is the momentum effective again? The momentum, I wouldn't say is effective, but it definitely has a better aesthetic. It doesn't seem to get bumped on collision anymore. I noticed in play now, but that might get changed.
It's looking smooth for the
next
combos.
Question that person asked is if the behind the backs are effective again. The answer would be yes, they are, but there is a catch. For some reason, triggering a behind the back escape like Curry Slide was very difficult for me to trigger. I could probably trigger 10 speed glitches in 2K26 before I could trigger 10 Curry Slides in 2K27. The last thing he asked was about defensive lateral quickness and collisions. Defensive lateral quickness was good only until you put your hands up. For some reason, if you hold right stick up, which is aggressive contest, your player will get stuck and then they could just run around you. Also, blitzes, collisions, and closeout contests all seem better in 27. This person asks multiple questions and we have already covered the first one. He asked how shooting tempo off peaks felt. To be honest, I don't think there is any point to tempo this year since you have to green both, which in my opinion is easier to mess up compared to shooting button. Next, he asked if SIG size-ups are useful again. Yes, SIG size-ups are back and are actually useful for the reason I said in the beginning of the video. There are certain moves you get consistent speed boosts out of, and SIG size-ups are one of them. If you are not a dribbler, an example of a SIG size-up would be Steve Francis from the older 2Ks. This was in the SIG size-up category and it was very OP. We don't have Steve Francis this year, but I did find a couple ones that are useful that I will drop tomorrow and show y'all.
Mostly watching his dribbles to find out
yes, it
type
is
of
super
combos,
fries.
how they flowing together.
Literally is the worst
Things
animation
like that.
in the
You get to
game.
learn a lot.
Speedbook Breakdown is basically a whole new pro play animation, and it is completely slowed down, so it is useless. Kyrie spin jumper is back in NBA 2K27, and there is one minor change that actually made it better. Now in 2K27, you can run straight towards the basket without stopping and double tap square to get the good animation. Last year, you had to twirl your right stick in order to get it, but now it is easier to do. So if you are a lockdown and get beat up the court, the guard will do a spin jumper. Also, Paulo and KD go-to shots are back in NBA 2K27. However, I cannot show y'all the requirements for them until tomorrow. This person asked about my overall thoughts on dribbling, what game comparison, the misdirection. First thing I would answer is this game's dribbling seemed like if you combine 2K24 mechanics with 2K22 movement and game speed. On top of that, as y'all saw in the gameplay review, you can fully customize the SIG. So the L2 cancel and quick stop remind me exactly like 24, but the actual speed boost animation reminds me of 26.
Help me say your name.
Doing combos in general are way faster and are definitely not casual friendly.
Thank you for coming by, man. I appreciate you.
And keeping pace with your moves is going to take a long time to learn. The skill gap, especially on small guard dribbling, is going to be insane. I didn't get to test
I might have to go with a small guard. What y'all think?
I do apologize about that, and I will lab tall guards when the game releases. This will be by far the most dribble diverse 2K ever, just because of the expanded dribble customization. If you want to see what SIGs I think are the best or what I think will be meta, make sure to tune in tomorrow, August 21st, for that video.
Hey, show love to Chopper. This is his video.
This game is very difficult to do and seems very slow to me. I definitely think the misdirection in 2K26 is way better. The misdirection in this game seems very clunky and not useful at all. Before I end this video, I want to go through some of the 2K26 animations that were meta and show y'all if there's any difference with them in 2K27. First, we have Defox Cross. In 27, it looks like it's still going to be the best crossover to use.
It's not bad.
In play now, it felt extremely fast and viable. Defox Snatch is slowed down in NBA 2K27, and it seems like it would not be a good SIG. It also drains stamina very quick in play now. Tyrese Halliburton and Zach LaVine also have good dribble styles that have consistent speed boosts and don't drain that much stamina. Kevin Huerter hop jumper is back, and even though it looks slow in this clip, I'm pretty sure it's because his release is slow. I didn't clip it, but you can also step through if you don't shoot the hop jumper. Ja Morant still has a good dribble style and a great speed boost. Kyrie's escape got changed, and the new animation isn't bad at all. It might be useful. It was one of the faster escapes I tested, so hopefully I can lab it more when the game comes out. LaVine hop step still has the chopper slide animation in it, and it will probably be my favorite hop step in the game. The only thing they patched is you can't fake pass out of it anymore, or even fake pass out of the Kyrie spin like 2K26. The push peek in 2K27 has been patched because now it makes you keep the ball in the same hand. Tyrese Maxey escape seems to be the second best escape. Most of his moves are fast, and it also seems like he has a fast motion style.
Maxey's about to be
the best escape I lab by far is Curry escape. It definitely is the fastest escape out of every new gen 2K.
That is super fast.
Not including Allen Iverson or Jason Tatum escape from 26. The Curry slide is 100 times more difficult to spam because they made the angle harder to hit, and it is also slower than 26. However, it looks like it creates more space than it used to. And if you stay to the end of the video, the surprise I have for y'all is that the 2K21 spin back is back. I think depending on which spin you have, it would make the animation faster. So when the game drops, I'm going to find the fastest one. When the embargo lifts tomorrow for the My Court and Builder, I'm going to go in more detail and show y'all all my SIGs, jump shot, and even a mini dribble tutorial.
Oh man, the game looks way smoother.
Like and subscribe if you made it all the way to the end. Comment I was here. And thank y'all so much for tuning in, man. And I'm out.
Young kid putting in work. No, I'm gonna mute this while I talk about him for a second. The kid came in hot, you know what I mean? Like putting in some cool dribbles, doing his thing. I was selling this to people every year, right? Like you could be the next big thing. You just gotta get out there and do your thing. And a lot of times, you know, like me, for example, I was on a space. The manager and the developers there telling them like, I don't care if I don't go. I'm gonna be real to myself. Y'all can all go to hell. basically. And it wasn't like disrespectful. It was basically saying I have to be real to me and trying to tell the listeners. We had a couple thousand, like 11,000 listeners, and telling the listeners like, hey man, be real to yourself, be authentic. If a brand likes you, cool. If they don't, it wasn't meant to be. It's like a girlfriend. You shouldn't be fake for a girlfriend. You got to be yourself. If it fits and it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you just move on. And the same thing with 2K is like, I don't chase on a community day. I don't chase trying to get a logo. If it happens, cool, but you got to be real with yourself. And a kid like Chopper came in guns blazing with fun dribbles and different things like that. And you know what's crazy? I forgot to bookmark this stuff. I'm gonna put a watch later on these videos, man. But yeah, so a kid like that does the work, you know what I mean? Yo, you better have a video up. He doesn't have a video. Come on, Koza. Koza's been too busy. Let's see who else was at the event that I can watch. I want more dribbles. I want more deep dives, breakdowns on things that I feel is good from people. I don't get to watch a lot of YouTube. What? Let's check out 2K Labs. Did they make a video? That's probably where Koza's video. They didn't even make a video. They're busy. Let's go with this guy. This guy's wild. His voice is like he also don't have a video. What is going on? Oh my gosh. Come on, Kevin. Tell me you got a video. There it is. Raw gameplay. I don't think he's gonna have what I want. Let's just go to him real quick. Shout out to Kevin Cruz. People always tell me like, oh, you sound like Kevin Cruz. Like, y'all both
so this
real
one
cool.
focuses on LeBron James and the
videos.
76ers against the Boston Celtics. I'll have a separate 30-minute video discussing detailed gameplay impressions. Unfortunately, that won't have B-roll later on because I just didn't have enough time to produce it before embargo. But in this video, I wanted to focus on the dynamic layup engine, layup combos when possible, the ability to combo dribble moves a little bit better, including the new moving breakdown dribbles, which I think are going to be super underrated. But yeah, these are highlighting some of the new features for 2K27. Enjoy, and I got way more content dropping throughout the rest of the day.
Shout out to him. He flew like 12 hours or something. Like a 15-hour flight for him. Props to him. He made it home and still put out a video.
Expect to have an advantage in the front court. That's not the case tonight. They're evenly matched. The bigs are going to.
Oh, this is just raw gameplay.
Everything they get. So let's take a
No, that's not what I'm looking for today.
Well, I had a chance to talk with
I'm gonna come back to this.
Derek White came up and Coach showered
Let me
Derek is a guy.
watch this later. I want to remember. Who else do I have that does good breakdowns that went to the event? Joey? Are these people not uploading? What is wrong with people? Come on, man. Guess we're gonna go with Grinding. Grinding always does amazing videos. Let's see what's up. How's it looking? What's going on, Cuban Prophet? Man, you're from NBA Live days, right? I was just telling the people, man, like, you gotta just do you know? And yeah, that was some good times, man. Hope everything's well. We're gonna check out Simply Grinding's video. I've been looking at people's content to see what's happening. What I can say right now is that it does have 26 in it core, but it feels like it has a couple other things mixed in. Defense looks stronger. I'm not sure how strong. They have really good step throughs, layups. I feel like the dunks are also stronger. Like, they buffed up a lot of stuff this year. And it just looks smoother animation wise on some of the previous animations. But that's all I got for you. But we can look at this review, honest review from Simply Grinding. This guy makes really good quality content. We need his editors. I need to hire his editor.
early, and today I'm going to give you my completely honest opinion about everything I liked and everything I didn't. For example, I love the brand new dunk meter. Last year, the green window on the dunk meter only shrunk and never grew, but this year you can visibly see it grow the more open you get throughout your dunk animation. Tall players obviously still have an advantage in this department, but small players have access to a certain takeover that completely levels the playing field. More on that later. Now, one thing I didn't like is the ball going through my player on what should be obvious blitz steal. The lack of steals was a major problem on NBA 2K26, so seeing this was really concerning. But before y'all start saying GG, there's no defense again, let me also say the bumps and contact body ups you get on this game felt insane. Even on players that aren't known for their defense, I was able to get attached to their hip really easily when in NBA 2K26, even the CPU would slip by like I wasn't even there. I also have one more thing I want to reveal about blitz steals, but first, here is a $50 Xbox and PlayStation gift card for Noti Gang. And here's the winner of today's NBA 2K27 giveaway. If you want NBA 2K27 for free, subscribe with notifications on and comment one change you want to see on the game. I'll be picking the winner in tomorrow's video. Now let's break everything down, starting with the biggest change, the new step-through shot mechanic, which is a brand new feature where even if your player cannot dribble anymore, he will take a step and do an up and under to create an insane amount of space and get open even if you were previously boxed. I'm calling it right now, this will be the biggest change in NBA 2K27, so you need to get this in your bag. The good news is it is super easy to do. To activate this move, all you do is pull your right stick in any direction. If you hold it to the right, it'll do it to the right, and if you hold it to the left, it'll do it to the left. Super easy to do, but the skill ceiling on this will be super high. I can already tell the players that master this mechanic will be able to make some crazy shots, especially the taller builds like 7'4". In last year's video, I called that no dipping would be the skill gap on NBA 2K26, and it was. So heed my warning, I'm telling you, this is a mechanic you do not want to ignore. And speaking of no dips, no dip timing has gotten a major revamp. Not in the gameplay itself, but in the form of this brand new quick trigger badge. Basically, the higher tier your quick trigger badge is, the faster your no dip will be. Mike Wang himself has said that the highest tier of quick trigger will feel like no dip in NBA 2K26, while lower tiers like bronze and silver will feel slower and less consistent. And that was very apparent in the gameplay. The best shooters in the NBA no dips felt really good, while the average player felt like I wasn't no dipping at all. It felt like their normal jump shot barely sped up. So if you're a major fan of no dipping, make sure to keep the quick trigger badge in mind when you're making your build. Now when you're making your build, you probably want to know if dunking is even worth it. So let's talk about this brand new dunk meter. And I got a lot to say about this, so listen up. Let's get this out the way now. It is an obvious improvement from NBA 2K26. Last year, your dunk meter could literally only shrink, which means that if you started your dunk meter with a defender in front of you, and then your defender gets out of position and leaves you wide open by the time you're dunking, your dunk meter would still never grow even though you're wide open, which is why you saw a bunch of clips of people missing wide open dunks in the rec in the park. This year, that is completely different. You can see multiple clips, whether the player is small or tall, it doesn't matter, where if I got more open as the dunk animation continued, my green window would increase to match that visual, which is obviously how it should have been in the first place. Now, the more interesting part of the dunk meter is who it benefits most, taller builds or smaller builds. So let's start with taller builds first. Just like last year, from what I've seen so far, taller builds have an insane advantage when it comes to dunking. Players like Giannis and Wemby had insanely big green windows when driving to the paint, which obviously makes sense. The taller you are, the easier it is to dunk, so your green window is going to be bigger. The only concerning part about this for me was that no matter what defender was in front of me, the taller players like Giannis and Wemby were just dunking on everybody. Basically, what I'm saying is that great defensive centers weren't altering my dunk meter to shrink at all on these taller builds. So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that dunking on taller builds is going to be very, very strong. And a pro tip for everyone that likes to make these tall demigod builds, when attempting a contact dunk on this game, try to start your dunk from the free throw line. What I noticed is that if you do this on a taller build, you will get way more contact dunks and you'll get less contact layup animations instead. Before I realized that, I was getting a ton of layups on Giannis and Wemby, and it was really annoying. What I noticed is that if you do this on a taller build, you will get way more contact dunks and you'll get less contact layup animations instead. Before I realized that, I was getting a ton of layups on Giannis and Wemby and it was really annoying. But once I started the dunk animation earlier, it was straight contact dunk city, even without takeover. Now, okay, granted, taller builds can dunk. Cool. What about the smaller build? This is what I was really concerned with because y'all know me, I love to start off the year with a 6'3" or 6'4" two-way point guard build that can do it all. But to do that effectively, small guard dunking needs to be good. And I'm happy to say that it is a lot better in NBA 2K27. I used Ja Morant for nearly an hour. And even though he is only an 84 overall rated player, he was getting contact dunks like it was his job. And not only that, you can see over and over again that my dunk meter green window increases in the paint every time I get a little more space during my dunk animation, which was honestly a relief to see. I was convinced it was going to be only tall players could dunk once again, but small guard dunking felt really good, especially with this brand new takeover called airspace. What airspace does is it increases your green window on driving dunks. And man, once you get this badge, it is dunk city over and over and over again. One thing I will say about smaller builds dunking is that it was harder to get the contact dunk animation started because obviously shorter players have smaller legs, so you can't just do it from the free throw line like you could with a Giannis or a Wemby. But once I got airspace unlocked, it felt like I could start my dunk animation from Uganda, and somehow I would end up in the paint dunking on the tallest center on the court. I'm calling it right now, if there's no change before launch, airspace will be one of the best takeovers in the game. So keep that in mind when you're making your builds, because trust me, I will be too. Unfortunately, I can't talk about the ratings required to unlock this airspace takeover until tomorrow, so subscribe with notifications on for that. But let's just say, if you make a dunking build, you will have airspace, okay? It's not something you have to go out of your way for, and it is a super strong takeover to have. Now that we talked about the dunk meter, let's talk about the new changes to the lob system. Last year, I told y'all that I absolutely despise the new lob system, where it is a random button push every time you throw a lob. And the reason I didn't like it is because I thought it would be too hard for casuals, aka the people you load into in the random rec and random theater matches, and it would also have zero effect on competitive players because they're just good at the game. So it just felt like a needless cosmetic change that was punishing casuals and didn't really affect people on the higher end of 2K. And I'm guessing 2K heard these complaints all year because they came out with a better compromise for this than I could have thought of myself. And that compromise is that every time you throw a lob, it will be a fixed button press depending on where you throw the lob. If you throw a lob on the right, it will always be square. If you throw a lob on the left, it will always be circle. And if you throw a lob in the middle, it will always be triangle. For my Xbox users like myself, if you throw a lob on the right, it will always be X. If you throw a lob on the left, it will always be B. And if you throw a lob in the middle, it will always be Y. And honestly, I think this is how the lob system should be for the rest of time for 2K. I personally think that this is the best compromise you can think of with the system that they want to implement. Obviously, I would prefer it to just be X or square every single time because I still feel like the changing buttons isn't necessary, but a lot of y'all actually disagree with me and think that it's a cool change to make lobs a little harder. So in my opinion, 2K came up with the best possible compromise to satisfy both of us and also save my controllers from raging when little Timmy in the random rec misses his 6th lob of the game because he can't figure out what button to push. So overall, a W chain. Now it's time to talk about everybody's favorite subject, the dribbling. Is the dribbling good in NBA 2K27? And man, do I have a lot of opinions about this. First off, let's start with some objective truths. If you spam your escape dribble move over and over again, you will slowly lose adrenaline bars until you completely run out, and your player will start moving like a snail. But weirdly enough, if you spam your signature size up the same exact way, you don't lose adrenaline bars, and your player will move perfectly fine. So you can technically spam moves standing still and combo up, which I guess makes sense depending on how overpowered the move is. As you can see from 2K26, the most powerful move in the game was an escape move. The Paul George, the Jimmy Butler, Kemba Walker, everybody was spamming that all over the place depending on what type build they had. So to counteract that spam, you lose adrenaline bars if you spam your escape moves, but you have to do it kind of egregious for it to go all the way down. So I'm honestly not too mad about that. You really shouldn't be spamming your escape behind a screen over and over and over again. But I just found it interesting that you could spam your signature size up over and over and didn't lose your adrenaline. Now, what are my honest thoughts about the dribbling? First off, the standstill moves looked great. A lot of them were super fast. There's going to be a couple that I mentioned right after this as the best moves in the the game that I saw, so you know what animations you should be looking for your player. But yeah, a lot of the standstill animations on a ton of players looked really good, it looked really fast, and it made the game look really smooth. What didn't feel good to me as a veteran 2K player is the burst you got once you tried to run out of these moves. It truly felt like I was doing these super fast glitchy moves, and then once I wanted to go to the rim or try and go for a 3 off a screen, my player would instantly slow down before attempting to launch. Now my guess is that this was intentional. If you remember, in one of the teasers they put a sign that said no left right cheese, or left right cheese has been removed, something like that. So I truly feel like this was 2K's attempt to limit the left right cheese behind a screen. But yeah, first impression, speed boosting felt really slow. So my initial thought when playing the game was, oh my god, speed boosting is gone, some people are gonna love this, some people are gonna hate it, it's gonna be so controversial. But then I calmed down and realized this was just quick play. And even in quick play, I found some players that could burst out of their animations while others couldn't. So that initially gave me a sign that there are certain moves that you can burst out of way better than others, just like in every other 2K. So do not freak out if you see me doing super glitchy standstill dribble moves in these clips and then randomly I slow down out of the burst. Again, I can't really talk about what we're gonna go over tomorrow, but all I'm gonna say is some of your favorite dribblers were absolutely moving. If y'all didn't see, you get complete control over your dribble moves this year. There's like 30 different dribble animation slots, which means every single dribble animation has been broken down so you have complete control over your players. So I'm sure dribbling won't be a problem, but I still wanted to be honest and mention that I do think it could potentially be a problem. And I also have one more problem with the dribbling that I'll say at the very end of the video. Now with that being said, there are a couple things I do want to let you know. If you want to know how to quick stop, aka stop on a dime and shoot, it is L2 this year. Tapping L2 is by far the best quick stop in the game, but if you got used to the NBA 2K26 quick stop, which was flicking up on the right stick, you can still do that. It is just a little bit slower from what I've seen. But yeah, you have your pick of the litter there. If you want to quick stop using L2 because you're used to it from other years, you could do that and it's really good. And if you just want to do the right stick one because you're used to it from this year, you could do that because it's decently good as well. Honestly, I was doing the right stick up for the most part just because I got too used to it. But if the L2 quick stop continues to be visibly better, obviously I will adjust and I will learn that one as well. Now, some of the best removes I noticed in quick play. Number one, by far the best remove in the entire game that I've seen so far, is Steph Curry escape. And just like every year, there are a bunch of NBA players that have a bunch of other NBA players moves equipped into quick play. So if you see another player that isn't Steph Curry doing the Steph Curry escape, just know that's normal. But yeah, that move you can spam left and right. It is super quick. And honestly, I think it's going to be very scary, especially behind the screen. I think small guards all year are going to be using this escape. The only other one I can see maybe eclipsing that is Kemba Walker from other years, because comp guards like to crab. If you don't know what crabbing is, it basically just means putting the defender behind you on your back so they can't contest your shot. Kemba felt better for crabbing, but Steph Curry felt better overall, so I think most people are going to be using Steph Curry escape. And I might as well say this now since we're talking about dribbling. Devin Booker breakdown combo is completely gone from the game. You know that glitchy move that basically every 2K player used, where your player would kind of just glitch through your body on NBA 2K26 and then shoot a wide open midi fade because he glitched through your body? Yeah, that dribble move is nowhere to be seen. I know we're only in quick play, but we had over 100+ players at that event, and everybody was saying they could not find Devin Booker breakdown combo on any NBA player they tried. So yeah, RIP to that move. I honestly never want to see it again. It was torture playing against that on the tube. Another really good dribble move, shocker, is the Curry slide. Stephen Curry behind the back, very good move. And then just to rapid fire some good moves you could write down, Donovan Mitchell between the legs was really good. D'Angelo Russell's between the legs was really good. Darius Garland moving breakdown was super good. Darius Garland moving breakdown was John Morant's breakdown in 2K26. You know that really fast cross he did where he exploded from the 3-point line all the way to the midi? That was Darius Garland's breakdown combo. And the last move that I noticed in quick play was Damian Lillard escape was also really good. Now that we talked about the dribbling, it's natural that we talk about the defense. Now, judging a game's defense off of quick play alone is true. I can't tell you if it's going to be a good defensive year or a bad defensive year. That would honestly be clickbait. But what I can tell you is what I saw. The first and most important thing I want to mention is that if you hold your right stick up to play defense, it makes it really hard for you to stay in front of your defender. So if you're like me and you've gotten the habit of holding up on the right stick at all times when you're playing defense on NBA 2K26, make sure to get out of that habit because you will get absolutely cooked on defense if you are running around holding your right stick up. The only time you want to hold your right stick up is when you think they're about to shoot so you can get the contest. But other than that, get your hand off of the right stick because, bro, I'm telling you, it makes you so much slower and you're going to get 21 points dropped in your head and your squad's going to flame behind me. Now with that pro tip out the way, the first thing I actually noticed while playing the game was that whenever I got closer to the CPU, it felt like a magnet was dragging me into a body up animation. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that it really felt like you could get bumpy on this game, which was honestly refreshing, because on NBA 2K26 it felt like if I tried to get near anybody, they were blowing by me and shooting a midi fade. But yeah, the contact body up animations on defense felt really good. Honestly, a little too good on players that were too small and had no defense. I was on players that are 6'2", 6'3", not known for their defense, and I was able to body up players like LeBron or Kevin Durant all the way up the court. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm saying that it is a very different thing that I was not used to, as on 2K26, like I said, it felt like we were playing slip and slide simulator. So yeah, the body contact on 2K27 felt a lot better. What didn't feel a lot better was the blitz steals in quick play. For some reason, I just could not get a blitz steal on these CPUs. I have clip after clip after clip of my hand just going through the ball. Sometimes my body would go through the ball. It just felt impossible to get a blitz steal. Now again, I had a different experience when I was playing in the builder in the my court against real players. We'll talk about that tomorrow, so don't get too worked up over this. I'm just giving y'all my honest review of what I played on this day, which was quick play. And in quick play, I could not get a blitz steal. So I don't know if that's a CPU thing. I don't know if it was just a me thing. Maybe it's a skill issue, but I genuinely have so many clips of my body going through the ball, and it scared me until I ended up playing in the park and seeing what happened there, which again, we'll talk about tomorrow. Subscribe with notifications on. Other than that, chase down blocks felt really good. It felt like on players that aren't really necessarily known for chase down blocks, they were still able to get up and get them if I was in the right position. Contest system, I can't really talk about against CPUs. If I was to say, oh, the contest system's really good, that'd be troll. If I said it's really bad, that'd be troll. You can't really tell against the CPUs. You have to wait until you play against real players to see what that's like. And the same thing goes for paint defense. I didn't really see my meter change too much, like I said, on taller builds whenever I was trying to dunk on like Joel Embiid or just players with high defensive ratings. I didn't really see my dunk meter change on taller builds. On smaller builds, it definitely got smaller, or I definitely got blocked. But players like Giannis and LeBron were able to dunk very easily. But yeah, I don't want to go too in depth on paint defense until we can talk about what it's like online. For the most part, all I want to say in quick play was I could not get bump steals, and the contact bumps were really bumpy. And I also wanted to warn y'all about the right stick up defense, because I don't want y'all getting cooked on day one and hating the game. So yeah, again, make sure you put your right stick down unless they're about to shoot the ball. Now, a major change that I absolutely love, because we have not had a good one of these for years, is the standing dunk meter changes. Mashing is finally back, and I never thought I'd be so glad to say that. But on 2K26, the standing dunk meter felt so wishy-washy. Some games I'd be like Shaquille O'Neal in the paint, and some games it felt like I could not get a standing dunk to go in if my life depended on it. This year, especially on taller players, it felt like my whole window was green. Like you can see in these Wemby clips, I'm dunking on 2 people in the paint, and my green window is nearly unmissable. And that's without the standing dunk meter takeover, which makes your standing dunk meter bigger. So I can even imagine what mashing is going to be like once you get that. Post scores, hear me out, you might be back. All right, I know you had a rough year on 2K26, but you guys might honestly be back. And for me telling you that information, please never pull up on me, okay? I love y'all. I don't want no smoke, okay? I am afraid for my life. Please do not pull up with the standing dunk takeover badge and drop me off, okay? I want my 90 win percent. But yeah, no, mashing felt really good. It felt like the back down animations in the post were really strong too. You could see that if my player was stronger or taller, I would back down the player really easily. And then once I did the drop step animation, the player would get flown out of the way, and I could get a standing dunk or a contact standing dunk very easily if I had the height and strength advantage, which is how it should be. There should be negatives for not going strength. There should be negatives for going a smaller build, because that's how it is in real life. Wemby is going to dunk on Gortat, just like Giannis is going to dunk on Mario Chalmers. It's just a thing of life, bro. Physicality is a very important thing in basketball, so it should be a very important thing in 2K as well. I absolutely love the standing dunk changes. Even if it's a little overpowered this year, I still like it, because, bro, we haven't had it in years.
Oh my gosh. Oh, there goes a commercial. We do not condone these commercials.
The paint, and an eventual nerf has to come out. I will still have fun with it on season 1, because again, bro, it's been so long. We needed this back. Standing dunk mashing felt really good. Honestly, dunking overall felt really strong. And trust me when I say my build videos tomorrow reflect on this knowledge, so make sure to sub with notifications on. You are gonna want to see those builds. Now, with all that out of the way, let's talk about rebounding. And rebounding's kind of funny, because it's not really an issue 2K has had. Like, I don't really see people complaining about rebounding too much. The only thing I I see people complain about is sometimes the box out animation, because people will say I have a 95 defensive rebound, I have max strength, and I have the Hall of Fame badge. Why am I getting wormed randomly? So to combat this, 2K actually did something that I think should have been implemented a long time ago. I'm really glad they made this change. They split up the rebounding badges into defense rebounding badges and offense rebounding badges. So when you're making your center builds, you can no longer just go a 95 defensive rebound and an 80 offensive rebound and say, well, it doesn't matter, I have the rebounding badges because I got one of them to 95. Instead, you have to have both ratings super high. Because for example, if you go 95 defensive rebound and 80 offensive rebound, yeah, you'll have a Hall of Fame defensive rebounding badge, but on offense, you're gonna have no badges. But on offense, you'll only have certain level. But on offense, you're gonna have lower tier badges, so you won't be able to get the offensive boards like you are on defense. So yeah, to me, that was the most major change for rebounding, is just splitting up the badges and making people invest more attributes, and making people invest more attributes into both. And yes, I can say that they already revealed the badges. And without looking at my footage, I honestly forgot what the badge names are. You can look it up and see what badges I'm talking about. There is a defense rebounding badge and an offense rebounding badge based on your offensive rebound rating and your defensive rebound rating. But yeah, other than that, rebounding just felt like 2K. The box outs felt clean, the jumping felt clean. You can still green your rebound timing, and there's actually a badge for that. I think it's called Sink Snatcher or something like that, where the higher tier of your badge, the more rating increase you get whenever you green your rebound timing. So if you green a lot of rebounds, that might be a badge worth investing to. But overall, rebounding just felt like 2K. The only thing I want to talk about here was the split between offense and defensive rebounding, because I don't want y'all making center builds with a high defensive rebound or a high offensive rebound and then a super low on the opposite, and then you're getting cooked on one side of the ball for the rest of life. You need both rebounding ratings high. Make sure you do that on your build. Now, some miscellaneous thoughts. Post scoring should be really strong with the new step through shot. I feel like post scores are going to have an insane bag this year. From what I saw, post hooks are really strong. That's every year. You honestly could not go wrong making a post score in any year. I feel like 2K26 was when they were the absolute weakest, and there were still people that made them very, very strong. I'm pretty sure it was still the most prevalent 1v1 build in the stage. So yeah, you can really never go wrong with a post score, and with this new step through shot mechanic, I'm sure they're going to be absolutely broken. Honestly, the only thing I'm really worried about with this game is the dribbling. I don't think dribbling in the game is ever going to be cooked, because like I said, there are players who are absolutely moving. You'll see it tomorrow. But I don't want dribbling to be too hard for casual players, because I feel like with the addition of all the new badges and the synergy stuff and the new takeovers and the takeover perks and then rebirth and then the new builder changes, I feel like it is very, very overwhelming for newer / casual players who are just trying to hoop after a long day of work. So if they also make the gameplay too hard to pick up, I could see a lot of casual players quitting early on. That is my biggest fear, and that's the main thing I'm worried about with NBA 2K27, is that it's going to be a little too complicated, especially with the 30+ dribble animations that you could put on now. Me as a competitive player or someone who plays 2K a lot, I'm glad that that's a thing. I want full control over my player. But even for me, it was so mentally taxing putting on 30 animations every time I made a build. So I'm just worried how a casual / newer player is gonna react. Maybe they'll just look up videos and copy it word for word and it won't be too bad, but I could see it becoming pretty tiresome pretty quick, and we might need a compromise for NBA 2K28. But anyways, that is my yap session about NBA 2K27. From what I said, do you like how the game looks? Do you
Shout out to Simply Grinding, one of the best presenters, I think. The way he makes his YouTube videos, it's very catchy, meaning like the TikTok brains. No offense to you guys on TikTok. A lot of people got TikTok brains, ADHD. They got like dopamine issues where they're just like addicted to dopamine. So if you make a real chill video, it's not going to work for the masses. Whereas like, you know, concise, calm, that type of video doesn't do well compared to, hey man, what's up? Yo, hey, yo, and then just keeping visuals popping. And that's why they have like a couple seconds of rules, whereas like every couple seconds they'll showcase something and things like that. So now I'm gonna go into somebody I've actually never watched one of his videos. Oh wait, I forgot to comment. Bruh, I completely forgot to comment on a couple videos. Let me show him love. Simply Grinding, we just watched this. Wait, I think I copied and pasted, didn't I? Oh no, I didn't. I'm gonna copy and paste this and just use it as my template from now on. Too much work, guys. All right, so there it is. So Simply Grinding, incredible. We're gonna go to shoot. This is his first time showing up. He's always been a funny guy and very consistent with his content. And I never watched his long form content. I don't even know.
Just get ready to inbound.
His name is Shoot Every Pop on here. I believe that's not his name on TikTok. Yeah, actually, Shoot Every Top. Shoot Every Top. Hey.
Everybody who plays with Square, we are back, baby. All right,
Yo, what's up with that camera, bro?
Yo,
Like,
we back from 2K27 Community Day. Look, guys, first off, I want to give a shout out to 2K. Thank y'all for having me. It is my very first community day that I've been to, and I heard it was the best one yet. The best event. Yeah, everybody was friendly. Like the whole staff, bro. Everybody was super nice to me, and yeah, W in my books. All right, with that being said, let's get straight to business. Let's talk about how I feel about this game, my honest opinion after playing Play Now, Rucker Park, and my team. I'm gonna tell y'all what I liked and disliked about this game. Hopefully 2K watches this, and as I said before, we played like a demo version, so I'm pretty sure some of these things can get tweaked. So yeah, my opinion, it's not set in stone. Some of these things can be buffed, some of these things can be nerfed. So yeah, let's just go into it thinking, okay, this is what we looking forward to.
This
so
guy
after
pretty much
playing this
plays
game
this
for
all
like
the time,
9
so he's
hours,
somebody
I
good
am
to
gonna
get
say
feedback
I
from.
do like the way it feels. I do like it, and it does feel promising. But first, let's talk about some of the biggest issues in 2K26. Then we can go off of that and go straight into 2K27. All right. So the biggest issue with 26 was the rhythm shooting and the defense. Those were the main issues that people had. All right. And the way this is looking, I am liking the defense, okay? I am liking the defense. Hands up defense is really a thing. They also added some crazy contests in the paint. I was playing with Wimby and I was getting like hands up contests. Yeah, the paint ain't sweet. I'm telling you, the paint ain't sweet. If you got a good player like Wimby or a defensive center, you gonna get stops in the paint. Now, when it comes to rhythm shooting, rhythm, tempo, whatever you want to call it, I'm gonna say this, bro. We are back, all right? Everybody who plays with Square, we are back, baby. All right, we are back. All right, so this is what I did, okay? I was playing Play Now. I was going straight to rhythm shooting because rhythm shooting was so OP in 2K26. I'm like, let me try rhythm shooting because that might be OP in this game. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was making a brick house with a lot of these shots that I couldn't hit with rhythm. I couldn't hit with rhythm at all. Like, y'all know me, bro. I played the game non-stop,
the beginning
so I
and the
pretty
end
much figure out shooting. That's like the first thing I figure out what to do on this game. Like, that's the first thing I do on any 2K. I figure out how to shoot the ball. That's what I figure out first, how to shoot the ball, how to green, and then dribbling comes next, defense comes next, like all that comes after. But I focused on shooting the ball, okay? That's my name for a reason, okay? But yeah, whenever I was using rhythm, it was just
man, I'm a
so,
blind shooter at heart.
Like, I don't know, I couldn't hit nothing, bro. I
just
couldn't hit
recently
nothing, but when I used Square, it was
like,
just
you know
so
what, I'll join the
much
club.
more consistent. So like,
but it really wasn't me. I mean, last year I didn't do it.
I just felt better
For more than 2 weeks.
Yeah, tempo has made me a little like yeah, it was easy to green, but the reaction time you get with Square is just so much better, and I'm just glad that it's like we're back, bro. I feel like we're back with Square, and then even at like we played the game, right? We played the game.
Hash course.
And we tested it out and stuff. Yeah, I know it's a demo and stuff, but we tested the game out, and then after all this, Mike Wayne starts tweeting stuff like, look, he said this: the shot button and rhythm shooting have identical green window sizes, but for rhythm shooting, your accuracy is matching the tempo, which is more difficult to do this year compared to last year. Can make your green window size expand or shrink significantly on your base size. So y'all heard that right? Tempo it's more difficult to do this year. So I didn't even know this. All right, I was just me myself playing the game by myself, figuring it out. You know, like I'm saying before, bro, I was no dipping. I was trying to figure out how to shoot first. That's like my main thing. We don't want RNG back. We don't want none of that crazy stuff. Yeah, it just felt so much better. And then when I was asking other creators, like, what are you using? Oh, I'm using Square. Square is better. So it wasn't just a me thing. Other creators were like feeling the same way. They were feeling like Square is just so much better, or probably they're just more used to Square, and it just felt more consistent.
There's a lot of elite players use Square anyways.
I also like the takeover system. Like the takeover system, as y'all see with Curry or SGA that I'm playing with right now. The takeover is split into different categories, right? It's split into different categories.
I used to sit in those spaces I did.
Say do like 5 assists, 10 assists to get your takeover to like make your dunking better, if that makes sense.
And I was in the spaces.
Say you want your takeover right because you have
the real one.
A lot of dunking on your takeover. You can't do that no more. Whatever.
I'm gonna skip ahead for a second.
I just dribble to get open. Some of y'all that be dribbling to show off and stuff, y'all gonna have fun on this game. All right, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. My dribbler's gonna have fun. My shooter's gonna have fun.
Finishers.
Defense. The paint defense. If you have like Wimby or somebody, you gonna be good. But other than that, hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. If y'all made it to the end of this video,
shout out to him, bro. Let me go in.
GOAT gang in the chat. All right, type in GOAT in the chat.
That is Shoot Every Talk. He mostly be on TikTok and all that. I'm not really on TikTok at all. There you go. Just want to show him some love. Gonna go ahead and get back into the subscriptions. Try to find something unique. We've seen a lot of like reviews, and it's gonna get repetitive. And so wanting to find somebody with something different, something, you know, really catchy, it's helpful. So we want to go look somebody that's gonna do it in a different way. Oh, here he is. Young Dirt. Shout out to Young Dirt, man. Remember when I got an early copy of 2K? He gave me some good advice. He's like, don't do nothing. He didn't know I never leak stuff, but it was very like protective, like, yo, don't do nothing. And I'm like, don't worry, dude. I'm an old head. I don't gotta leak no game ever. Not what I do. You know, I get games early from the companies and sometimes just in general. So I'll say, hey bro, how you doing? What's good? What do you think about the Manet kind of build? Oh, Bobo's interesting. I would think you could probably pop off. Of course, make it good, right? Like, don't make it like him only. You want to have some type of different things that work for the game. They were just saying it right now in the last review. Interior defense is strong if you got a Victor Wembanyama. So make a Bobo, but make it, you know, have strong interior, strong block. Make them maybe dribble if you want to dribble. Different things, you know, maybe have a good three-pointer. I would make one, you know. If I'm trying to make a center, that could be fun. I think you want to be careful and not just rush. Take a day if you have to, right? Just play other things, play offline, play on a 66 overall, and just kind of test some things. Do not get in the game, just make a quick build and automatically spend VC on it. I would say test it thoroughly before anything, you know? Let's listen to Young Dirt. He's
we
one
are
of the
back
best
with the first dribbling breakdown on NBA 2K27. I'm going to go over everything that you need to know about dribbling. Which heights can speed boost, which heights are best for dribbling, how the dribbling feels. Is it slow? Is it clunky? Is it smooth? How does it feel compared to NBA 2K26? And I'm going to give you some of the best dribble animations that I have found so far and everything else that you need to know. But important, tomorrow I am dropping my full dribble tutorial and full dribble breakdown with my custom SIGs in the My Court.
Okay, you already got a custom SIGs
because
video.
of the embargo, I can only show clips from the 2KU. But tomorrow, I'm going to release me dribbling in the My Court
high
with
interior,
my
high
custom
block, and
SIGs.
some good
You guys
spot
can
ups. That's
really
always a good
see
center.
how you move and
Some
groove
rebounds is
on
always
NBA
helpful too, dude.
2K27. So make sure you are subscribed with your noties on so you don't miss that video. And another thing before we get into it, the footage that you're seeing in this video is actually from Choppa. He is a very good dribbler, so do not worry about that. I'll leave his link in the description. And the reason why it's his footage is because your boy Young Dirk, when he was dribbling in Learn 2K at Community Day, forgot to hit the record button. So I would really like to apologize for not having the exact footage to match with what I'm talking about with certain things in this video. I am very, very truly sorry, and I feel really bad, and I feel like an idiot, so please just bear with me and listen to the breakdown with this dribble footage on the screen. First things first, let me say this dribbling is unique. Like, I feel like it's kind of like 26, but it's not in a certain sense. So I'm going to try to explain everything as best as I can, starting with the speed boosting. So the small guards were moving, okay? The small guards were speed boosting just fine, and they were getting to their spots. They could quick stop, blah, blah, blah. But the big guards, I'm a little concerned. The big guards were not bursting how they were on 26. They only were in like specific angles. Like on 26, you can get a good speed boost animation out of, out of whatever animation you want on a big guard, right? But on 27, and keep in mind, we tried out every dribble style. You could only get it out of specific angles and specific animations. It was very interesting. I wish I could show you guys the footage from the video tomorrow to better explain it. So stay tuned for that video tomorrow so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna make a prediction, and I really hope I am wrong. But just off of the dribbling alone, and the one day that I played the game and that everyone else played, it seems like the small guards, as of right now, are going to be better than the big guards. And I really, really, really hope I am wrong, because I am a big guard and I personally hate playing on small guards. But I'm still going to make a big guard as my first build, and I'm most likely going to be on a big guard all year, because they can still move, right? Like the big guards can still combo and SGA and KD go-to shot and crossover, no problem, right? It's just the initial speed boosting is a little right now, but if we can figure it out, I think the big guards are going to be the dominant height range again, because the rest of the dribbling, like I said, is really, really nice. But I just thought of this right now. I'm sorry I'm going all over the place, but this is good news. So I'm going to explain this from the small guards perspective first. And it's going to make a lot more sense when you guys see it in the dribble tutorial tomorrow. But with the small guards, you only get, now again, this is just from testing for a day. I could obviously be completely wrong. But what we found out was you got the super good speed boost animation when you did it out of your signature size up. Like the speed boosting out of that was way quicker than speed boosting out of your escape. So on the big guards, I wonder if you'll get a good speed boost animation like on 26 if you're running out of your signature size up instead. I'm definitely gonna have to test that out as soon as I get the game, because like I said, you had to be very specific on your timing and your angles on a big guard to get a good speed boost animation. Like it was super, super inconsistent, which is gonna bring me to my next point, which is the overall flow of dribbling on 2K27. And this is kind of hard to explain without actually getting your hands on the game, but the dribbling is clunky and choppy, but smooth at the same time if you dribble properly. What do I mean by that? I mean that, like, if you rush through your combos and you're not pacing your combos, it's gonna give you moves you don't want. So I feel like, in my opinion, again, I only played the game for a day. You're going to have to pace your thumb when you're dribbling and not rush through your combos, or you're gonna get moves and animations and bursts that you do not want. But on a positive note, let's get some positivity in here. If you can combo correctly and pace yourself correctly, you guys will see tomorrow that you can dribble really, really nice. And the combos and dribbling on this game are gonna be very, very smooth. Elite dribblers are going to love the amount of combos and chains that you can put together on this game. I mean, bro, you have so many different dribble animations to put on this year. Like, it is very overwhelming. The amount of different SIGs that you can put on, bro, it's just crazy. And I already know, like, a week or two into the game, the combos that I'm going to see on YouTube and Twitter and TikTok, whatever, are going to be absolutely cracked. Let's continue with some positivity, and I'm going to tell you guys some good dribble animations that I found. So the Curry escape, that might be the meta on the small guards, not going to lie. As you guys have seen throughout this video, it is very spammable and very, very quick. The Kemba is nice still, of course, but I think I might like the Curry a bit
all
more.
The requirements
and then the
small.
best dribble style for the small guards of what we tested out was again the Ja Morant. And then for the big guards, like I said earlier, it is the Zach LaVine. And continuing with the big guards and some good news, the KD go-to shot, right? If you guys watch me, I abuse that move on 2K26. It is still in the game and it's actually slightly better. And that's crazy because in my opinion and in a lot of people's opinion, if you knew how to use it correctly, the KD go-to shot was the best move in NBA 2K26. It's better because if you guys remember, the KD go-to shot on 26 was quicker when you did it with your weak hand side and you could combo out of it and cross out of it faster than your dominant hand side. Well, on 2K27, of what I have tested, and you guys will see tomorrow, it is the same speed in both your dominant and weak hand, so it's going to be even harder to guard and even more OP. So I'm super excited to be using the KD go-to shot day one of NBA 2K27 because I am, like I said, going to be making a big guard for my first build. As far as the other animations, and I know this video has kind of had like a 50-50 type vibe to it, but on the pod, like I want to end this positively, okay? There's a lot of good animations in this game to what I have tested out. You still have the Jimmy Butler escape. That's good. The Paul George escape, the Kawhi behind the back, the Stephen Curry behind the back. Like, there are still a lot of good moves, bro. There are so many moves to choose from in this game. It is absolutely ridiculous. And real quick, one last thing, just a reminder again, if you want to see me dribbling in the my court with custom animations on a small guard and a big guard, that video is dropping tomorrow. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on. You do not want to miss that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Apologies again for not getting the...
All right, well, this was basically Chopper's footage, but his thoughts were very good. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave my copy paste. Hopefully YouTube doesn't get mad at that. Shout out to Dirk, very, very good content creator. Always been a good guy to me. Nice guy. Very nice, very nice. All right, so who else went? We got Double H. I'm gonna go into the subscription because it just makes it easier to look at the video. But there's probably a lot of great videos, guys. The issue is different variety. We're here watching, right? We want to be here all day. I'm not going to do that because there's 1,000 videos. But trying to find the best dribble, best dunking. Like, for example, this is one we haven't talked about yet. Like a full slashing. Laker fan, always massive with this. This is his number one go-to.
As it's about time of today's video, we have
he literally makes builds. By the way, let's go and look at his channel for a second. Called Laker Fan. That's it on YouTube. He makes builds with 0 shooting just to slash the whole game. So he's a guy you can trust in the finishing. I try to explain this to people. There's certain creators that are really good at one specific thing, and that's what you go to them for, right? If you're looking for dribble, like spam stuff, or you're looking for competitive dribble, which is totally different things. Goofy dribbling, you know, ISO fun stuff that you see, always fun, but it isn't effective in a competitive setting on a 5v5. So that's a whole nother level. And the same thing with finishing or shooting. There's always different tiers. It's not that one person is better than the other. There's layers to it. And that's what makes basketball great and makes 2K great, is that they have so many variety. But anyways, Lakers is a pure slasher. So this could be interesting.
Dunk meter test of NBA 2K27. Now, I'm starting you guys off with some clips of these elite dunkers going at elite rim protectors, because let me tell you, you're going to see in the rest of the video, this dunking is out of this world. It's unbelievable. However, I do want to show you that there is balance to this at the beginning of this, because I'm sure you're going to see in a lot of other people's videos dunks popping off, because a lot of the community day was smalls versus smalls. It was going to be people with high dunk ratings like Ja Morant going at someone like Anthony Edwards, where it's going to be a lot of, in the paint collisions like this, where you have people with really bad interior defense being dunked on. So first and foremost, what I really want to say about the dunking is that I am ecstatic that something like this is a thing. Truly, we've gone multiple years in the past, I would say 3, at least 2 of them, if not all 3 of them over the last 3 years, all the way back to 2K24, have been a world where you as a small guard are safe from being contact dunked on as long as you're standing in the somewhat right spot. But nowadays, even if that's the case, if you don't have good interior defense, you are getting dunked on in 2K27. And I wanted to start off with those first 2 clips because it just so happens to be how the gameplay kind of set up, but also that I really wanted to show people like Donovan Clingan, who's like a really tall 7'2", 7'1" big. Same with Rudy Gobert, 7'1", obviously like the best rim protector in the league, other than maybe Wemby, but Gobert is low-key just built for rim protection, and that's about it. But long story short, you'll see more and more clips of Ja Morant trying to go at Rudy Gobert, and it never ever works, bro. It truly just never works. So I will continue to get into the gameplay and stuff like that, but what I do want to show you guys real quick is I have a bullet point list right here that I want to go over just to give you a guide for what you're going to see in today's video. Not to mention, big shout out to D-Man for teaming up with me on this. Truly one of the best slashers in this community, and I really wanted to reach out to him for an idea like this, where we would pair up together and just go head to head, basically. So at this community day, me and him are just going at it. He's using the T-Wolves, I'm using the Trailblazers. But as you will see in this as well, we're going to use multiple different teams, multiple different players. We're going to have stuff like LeBron and Zion going at it later. We have also 2 Giannis's, so we can test basically how good is, like, Giannis as a slasher versus like the top level of defense you get out of Giannis as well, which is very, very respectable for that matter too. We have Wemby of standing dunk tests against himself as well. But yeah, Giannis with the Euro spin hop gathers and stuff like that, trying to get some vibe checks on that. But to start us off, it basically goes in this order. It's not going to be direct like that. I obviously don't have timestamps or anything like that either. It's a little bit more scattered, but as a generality, this is probably how you're going to see this video develop. Working out the kinks a little bit, trying to learn how to set up our test as well as possible. Just make sure that we're actually getting like clean dunk on each other.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Y'all probably wondering what the heck am I doing? I'm watching this.
Like, too far into the rim, in the dead zone, if you will. For NBA like as a recovering defender, where you're like trying to move forward and take position, if you will, to like cut them off as a dunker. And then also multiple different reps of like takeover, for instance, different varying levels of obviously paint defense capability. You will see a lot of us going like guard for guard, where we're going like, Ja and Edwards, like going head to head, basically with dunking on each other.
This is like, bro, just put in the timestamps.
Again, better interior defending players.
I gotta listen to you explain what you're gonna watch.
As you can see, takeover going crazy. At some point, he's gonna pop off for D-Man getting the takeover to light up with
player retention.
Guard versus mediocre big. So I do think that the meter dunk is looking quite overpowered. Do I think that's, I mean, it might be, maybe they need to tone it down a little bit, but you won't hear me vouching for that. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but as you can see, like, we got Denny right there trying to defend Anthony. That was an awesome race. Who was that? Smaller than a lot of the previous ones have been showcasing, and Denny's like a taller wing as well, but like not nearly as bad of an interior defender as someone like Ja Morant or Anthony Edwards would be. Now, the interactions that I'm getting out of this is that vertical and stuff like that is not gonna matter as far as like
so easy.
Defense. Obviously, something that Ja
they're standing under this. They should be right in front of the restricted line.
The ability to jump with the person that you're actually
I don't know why they're doing it under.
It would appear to me that obviously block rating and
should be right in front of it. That's the best defense you can do in the game.
I do want to mention this. Me and D-Man kind of both agree on this one. Slashing takeover, I think it was called airspace. Yeah, I believe that's definitely what it was. Airspace. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This might have to get nerfed. That is insane.
Yeah, but they're under the rim,
full on into
in the restricted area. That's not a good.
It was the dude that used to play with the Spurs. He's like a taller wing, if you will,
outside of the restricted area to get a good contest on contact
or anything like that. But
somebody slashing in, just kind of hold the ground a little.
Right here, you can see Gobert slides over completely.
That's a good
defense
right there.
Meter dunk right there. It's not just completely brain dead broken or anything like that. And like I said, you put rim protectors near this, it is very, very glaring. Now you will see these are the free throws that I'm talking about right here.
I should be taking notes, but I'm gonna just take mental notes.
Oh, and my bad. I don't know if I mentioned
all of these
I am
videos
using the Trailblazers.
I'm gonna do a
D-Man's
deep
using
dive
the
breakdown
T-Wolves.
on.
Sorry, that might have made for a little bit less of a good watch right there, but. Anyway, you can see we're trying to get this set up. Oh, it's Soshan. That's his name. Yeah, obviously. But as you can see, slash takeover, airspace. Holy moly.
They need to be in front. See how he's inside the restricted area for defense? You don't want to do that. You want to be in front of the line.
I'm not
or
trying
not,
to
you're getting dunked on anyways. 2K26, any 2K.
But holy, I think the takeover might be. But I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Once again, like, you know, rim protector slides over, completely takes me out of the dunk in general. Actually,
it's a charge?
If that matters.
Oh yeah, he was under
right there. But yeah, anytime that I was near Gobert,
shout
I was
out to
not
D-Man
able to
helping
dunk
him with
the
this
ball,
because you can't do this with the AI.
Dunk, hardly.
Very helpful.
And I couldn't even see what the meters were looking like on him because
that was a good one.
like I'm saying, was getting ripped out of the meter dunks
That
more
one's
often than
better.
not. So again, I'm gonna harp on this a lot in today's video, so I hope you guys kind of understand that. But obviously, you know, we're gonna be showcasing that the level of interior defense, and this is like a side point of the video too, is that like we're kind of highlighting interior defense in this video too. You're gonna see Kyle Anderson slide over right here once again. I know like you guys might not be super tapped in. I mean, like I said,
if they're in front of the line, you're good.
You know, obviously I know of him, but in the moment couldn't recall.
Not gonna be a
some of you guys might not be familiar
dunk.
with Kyle Anderson. Once again, about 6'8", kind of a forward,
turn into a
not
foul
known as an
instead.
interior defender, if you will. But as you can see, did make this meter pretty small, all things considered. I full barred this. I don't even know where the green is. It would appear horn isn't going to show the remainder of the bar. Either that or it was just a sliver meter that ended up making right here on the dunk. So that was a tough one. Definitely tiny meter though, regardless, one way or another. It was extremely hard to make right there. And that is only Kyle Anderson. It's not like that's Rudy Gobert. So there will be mixtures of what you're going to see in this video right here. I definitely should have been starting to bring more like good interior defenders in here once D-Man got takeover with Anthony Edwards. We're very apparent at this point that like clearly we're going to be getting dunked on every single time Edwards is driving at us with takeover. I mean, it's like not even a question, you know what I mean? I'm not quite sure what we were getting at right here either. I do green the layup right there, however did get fouled. I'm gonna just skip the free throws at this point. And once again, I probably should be starting to just bring
being under the rim
defenders
is a bad player, so I don't like their testing
on D-Man while he's driving.
You have to be in front of that line.
I am
you can't always be in front of it, but
some of these meter dunks 100%. Like a lot of these I'm still trying to move forward, and the animation is more so just kind of taking me out of it.
Yeah, like they're right on the line, a little bit under.
I would like to think Edwards was able to
not good enough. You gotta just be right in front of it and then let them dunk on you and
obviously
see.
the meter wasn't huge, and D-Man's feet
that
are
one's better.
quite a bit like on
this is the time you can
circle,
see,
if you will. Gets pulled into the meter dunk, as you can see. But yeah, I mean that was definitely missable,
small
if
meter.
Being completely honest, it is obviously like I would like to think, and I'm not here to toot my own horn or like I will toot D-Man's horn as well, but I'd like to think the two of us are really good slashers, all things considered, you know. I mean, and wowza, look at the animation right there, the crowd's head topping and stuff too.
I need them in front of the line.
Yeah,
I wish I could
definitely
have been there
think
to
of all the people I wanted to ask, it was going to be D-Man. I know of him to be a really good slasher. And I mean, we've talked about stuff in the past, you know, shared our information or like, you know, thoughts on.
We're sure gonna get those
stuff
dunks
like that.
every time.
Again, shout out to him. Check out his channel for sure if you're into the slasher stuff, which a lot of you guys who are watching my channel are, I would assume.
I don't see one inside.
Anyway, let's start getting things
wow,
ramped up a little bit here, though. We've been looking at these two for quite a bit. I do want to still keep things moving a little bit in the video. So this will be, I believe, our last dunk with Ja anyway. You're gonna see we try and get it set up with Trey Lyles and double teamed on the dunk right there, and we're able to kind of slide through, get the backpack animation. You guys are familiar with that.
Just slipped through both and still got a dunk off.
For the last couple of years.
Oh my god! Listen, 2K, bro. Let me get a week with this.
Even though these NBA players don't have specific contact dunk animations in their like packages, it is still something that pops off for these players. So you can see me with Soshan try and move out again. Once again, the meter is entirely full. Airspace might be broken, bro.
Give me my BC, man.
But yeah, again, we will be showcasing more than just this in the driving dunks. All right, one last one as far as Ja goes. As you can see right here, we were starting to I'm actually talking to D-Man about how we can start switching the matchups. If you hold A button, it will switch this matchup
in the restricted line fully.
To just basically put you on whoever
that's a
you're
better defensive play. You don't want to be
already on, so now we can get like the centers
inside of the line. You're getting dunked on.
And start sliding the centers over to be able to guard this.
If you're going
against
at this point,
it feels very apparent if you have takeover. You are
touching
not
it, you might get dunked on 90% of the time.
Now, I want to warn you guys about that for the sake of ones. if you play 1v1, and actually we are getting some Gobert takes right here, so I'm gonna actually leave us with the John.
This is the real test.
If you guys are playing 1v1, highly recommend.
That's a good shot. That was the best one. They got to replay that.
It's position-based matchmaking.
He's in
you're gonna
front.
think you're all
This is
safe
the right
and
way to
whatnot with your
stand.
25 interior
Stay in
guard
front,
on the one
and you
score.
actually
But if another guard comes out there with dunk and you have the 25
them out of it.
interior
That's
D,
the
you are
secret. I
going to
taught
get
this
baited
in my
in this game.
videos
I know a lot of
already
you guys,
into the
and
players.
I know it's gonna sound a little hostile,
I never taught
a lot of you guys in this game,
Laker fans, so.
very recently in these last couple of years, have been kind of bailed out by the fact that like you can get away with this 25 interior D nonsense against slashers that are like literally 99 driving dunk builds, and it's undoable. It's impossible to be able to even dunk on you as a 5'7". Not that anybody plays on that, but like truly, if you were a 5'9" guard with 25 interior D, 25 block, you could literally defend this type of stuff right here. But as you can see, Gobert is sending this stuff back 24/7. Like I couldn't get it on the last one, couldn't get it on that one. Boom, Edwards in transition though on Holiday. As you can see, like once again, smaller guards trying to defend these dunks, it's not looking good. So a lot of it is going to be, can you cut them off before they can even get down into the paint? I'm here to tell you right now, I don't think the dribble styles and stuff like that were that good, but I don't know if that's something I can really go into in this video currently, so I'm not going to dive into that too much more. It might be hard to get yourself open on the drives, in my opinion. I'll just leave it at that. But getting to the hoop, though, if someone like Drew Holiday, I mean, he was AI controlled for the most part, obviously right there, right? But someone like Drew Holiday is really good at cutting things off. So yes, he's not going to be doing a great job at defending the paint itself, but we'll be doing a great job at actually doing, like, you know, the cutoffs and stuff like that. So as you can see right here, we were on Superstar. I just changed it to Rookie right here. And then we're going to load back in with those exact same teams. And I'm going to show you guys what it looks like now. I actually don't want to make any cuts because I do want you guys to be able to see the difficulty.
You can go to Hall of Fame, bro.
So I ended up speeding it up right here. As you can see, boom, we're going to just get
I want to listen to the whole video, but not on Rookie,
the
man.
Blazers and T-Wolves. Or at least I thought I was speeding this up in the edits that I made. But doing in this video truly was on Superstar, except for that small little segment right there of just proving the difference of playing on Rookie. You know what I mean? So now here we go.
Superstar is more or less where you go to like the rag.
This time I think we're gonna load up with the we're loading
Superstar,
up with
between Superstar and Hall of Fame for like the competitive modes.
I figured this was gonna be pretty equal footing as far as slashers go.
Big deal.
We have like, you know, Zion at like 6'6", but like, you know, a pretty good slasher, all things considered, with like really good dunk ratings and, you know, like badges and all that. I don't know what they have done to LeBron's dunk ratings as he's a 91 overall now, but you'd have to assume his dunk rating's got to be at least still pretty decent, not to mention still have like pretty good badges for all that stuff too. So we're just gonna go at each other, Zion versus LeBron. Now you can see LeBron gets taken out of a dunk animation and gets into a layup.
And LeBron,
pretty like glidey, I will say. And
again,
Mike did
this
mention
test
that,
is done right. They have to
like
be in front of the restricted line,
layups
right
into
there.
like, you know, area that it
That's
was like
good
makeable.
defense.
I get taken out of a layup entirely right there, but Zion does have a Hall of Fame physical finisher. You're gonna see these guys bruisers lighting up a lot. Like, look at that, both of them. Bruiser is lighting up in these like contact animations. So I don't know if that means Bruiser is going to help you in terms of like paint defense or not either, but it would appear it's going to help you in terms of paint offense as well, or at least like fatigue the defender or like, you know, offensive player, whatever the case may be. So anyway, let's run a replay on that one with Zion, because as you can see, this is like more of a respectable meter where, like, again, you know, this is on LeBron, a pretty respectable interior defender, but not amazing. Whereas Zion is like an amazing finisher, but like, you know, obviously, I guess you could give favor of the height advantage to LeBron by like 2 inches. But anyway, point being, you can see I barely make the meter right there. It was a little bit of a bounce back, but, you know, it was still pretty makeable, all things considered. We did not play on Hall of Fame. All of the footage you're seeing right here is on Superstar. I would have liked to consider doing that, but it was very limited time, fellas. And I still wanted to get to a lot of the stuff that we're doing for the builder tomorrow as well. So I will say though, this is a very, very thorough, detailed video on the dunking. You actually can see in this one too, DeAndre Jordan, albeit I don't think he's the rim protector.
I know y'all might be bored of this, but this is tests that I do in game.
Corner right here, you
and
can
then
kind of see like
it to the league,
like spotted up in like short corner
players,
right here,
all this stuff.
DeAndre Jordan.
And I don't have to do that this year.
This made no impact on the dunk, I will say. He was a little bit late, if we're being
fast forwarding all the hard work.
A lot of this is that rotating defenders are not nearly as, like, you know, impactful as they may have been in like some.
Even if I don't got a good play, like, you know,
rotating defenders were really
I don't know if y'all been on my streams where I just
though, where like blinders dunks were a lot more
almost the whole game. I'll dunk on them.
Focus. My point in today's video is showing you guys that like posterizers are back. Slashers are back. Like the real deal, like driving dunk, contact dunk, yam on your head. It is truly a thing again. And I know, like I said, there's gonna be a lot of people that don't like that about the game. They're gonna call it like brain dead and like, you know, just like playing through the RNG and stuff like that. I mean, as you can see, I actually missed like a pretty respectable one for that matter right there too. But I think just give it some time to breathe is kind of my take on it. But I do understand people's concern for it. You know what I mean? I will say, I think it'd be kind of fun to see a player base actually have to adapt to a play style like this of it being in the game and actually approach things in an aspect where you need a rim protector on your team if you're playing fives. You need a rim protector on your team if you're playing even threes. I truly do think that could be kind of fun. And listen, it might ruin the environment for twos quite a bit, if I'm being completely honest. Like, twos, small guards, I don't think you're gonna have fun in this game because, like, truth be told, if you can't guard the big, and then if a guard has high driving dunk, where are you going to guard? So I think you either need to really focus into interior defense and block both. And like, you know, Joe's posted build videos like that in the past, and I've also vouched for stuff like this too. Block rating is just good in general to have on your guard because it can give you good jump contest animations. If you, like, you know, hold your Y button or, you know, press your Y button, trying to defend someone on the perimeter, giving you like better jump animations. But truly, you're gonna need it for like paint defense in this game if all things stay the same. Like I said, enough people could complain about it to where it ends up making waves. You can see, though, this slash takeover stuff is unbelievable. If anything gets nerfed, it really probably should be this. Because, I mean, look at Zion, bro. He just puts LeBron into this, like, you know, the windmill body animation. The whole meter is green. I don't know that that should really be the case, if we're being completely honest. But to be fair, it's takeover. I don't know how effective sharp takeover is. I don't know how effective lock takeover is. I don't know how effective glass takeover is. So, like, all I can really see is just that, like, that seems kind of insane. But I don't even know how easy takeover is to activate either, to be real with you guys. I didn't get, like, really great, like, study on stuff like that. I was looking at a lot of builder and a lot of the slashing test stuff that we were doing right here. We spent, like, a whole hour doing this. I cut it down to about 40. The important footage for you guys is going to be, like, only about 25 minutes. If you want to see the stuff at the end of like the standing dunks, the basic dunkers like Luka and Halliburton going at each other and stuff like that, feel free to. If you want to see, you know, the gather dunks that we were doing with LeBron, or not LeBron, but Giannis as well, you can feel free to. But a lot of this stuff, I just wanted you guys to be able to see contact dunks and, like, you know, these situational things like this, for instance, right here as well. This was me trying to run at D-Man from like a distance. I don't know what this takeover is for LeBron. I'm thinking it's playmaking takeover. It's definitely not slasher. I will say that much. But as you can see, I'm starting on the block, but trying to like run up to D-Man as he's going for the dunk right here. Meter is small early and then expands into a like respectable, makeable one.
So if you get the space, damn, and again, this could be crazy.
I can't see the ratings on this.
Space, you're going to be able to,
all it would let you do is quit. You guys have seen it now
at the end. If your animation ends with you
with slash take,
that's going to be really hardcore, and it is dynamic. So I'm not mad at that.
I'm kind of, you know, talking in circles here a little bit whenever it's the slashing takeover stuff.
Devs might try to nerf it after people abuse it, but
dunk animation right there.
Personally, I think that's great.
The physical finisher lighting up, and obviously being able to just
if you don't have good interior, get your big man in there.
Meter,
you know what I mean?
Right
Play some zone defense.
By the way, one thing I ended up seeing is you can take off your meter visually
guards
for the dunks. You are still going to have your timing on, though.
Make people miss in the paint.
I don't know if you get like a boost, like how jump shots get a boost or anything like that for having your meter off. I would assume.
You gotta turn my mic up.
But anyway, we are going to move into this next segment of the gameplay. It's going to be Brandon Miller versus Paolo Banchero. These are going to be lesser dunkers, if you ask me. Like, you know, people that are still very good finishers, but not like on the levels of like Anthony Edwards or John Morant or anything like that. And as you can see, it's starting off with a lot of lays where like we're not really getting the contact dunk animations. However, that stuff Mike was talking about like contorting your body into like good layup animations and stuff. If you have a good layup rating, both these guys surely do, for that matter, like 100%. And I don't even know if it's to the level that a lot of slashers are going to want to put their layup. But listen, fellas, we're in a brand new game. You can't just come at it from the same perspective of what we've seen over the last, like, I don't know, what, like 4 years or so, 5 years or so. For all you know, this is a brand new game that truly you're going to have to play entirely different. And maybe layup is important. And I think the problem, if we're being completely honest with the community here, is that I think we have the opportunity to try and play the game in a much different way right here, where a lot of ratings that never have mattered in the most recent games. Like, I don't think that's honest. I don't know if people really care about the idea of posterizing on people's head as much. Like, in recent games, it's been all about just like get the dunk, be unblockable from either behind or the blinders. If someone's playing you too tight, you go for the dunk, and then the rotating defender can't, you know, get a block on you. He's gonna meter dunk you, and it's like a blinders effect. And then nobody really cares about blocking interior, but I've been coming out here with like garbage blocking interior on center builds for years now, and what does it matter? I mean, mashing's not good. Like, the close shots are bad. Driving layups don't really matter that much either. And then also, like, if you're gonna defend dunkers, like, bro, this right here, last year would have been a terrible long video. 100%. Every single time, this would have been a small meter. I'm driving right at a guy, and it's like,
you know, he comes out a
little bit outside the cylinder. This is a tiny meter every single time. But as you can see with takeover on right there as well,
I'm mostly just DM people and ask questions.
It is kind of insane. Like, I
mean,
mean,
easy way to shortcut all.
I've talked circles around this, like, slash videos that they make the airspace. It is like ridiculous for sure, bro. And then Ben Caro, as you can see, I'm sitting in dead zone though. You guys got to understand too. Some of this stuff, like, I'm literally right below the basket in that replay, as you can see. This is more so just getting some testing on stuff, giving it a couple of reps, letting us see some stuff play out. Once again, though, slash take, crazy. I don't know. Some of this is more cinematic too. I'm just use your own player and like hover low. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna see me kind of just back up, like, and you know, let him drive in, and then I kind of like peel away. But the problem is peeling away too early sends like Walker Kessler into like. But I will say, the way it looks right now, I think this game could be played quite a bit inside out. I love that personally. I mean, literally, this is me yesterday. Like, we literally did this a little bit over 24 hours ago. And I honestly can't believe it, because it's such a quick turnaround in terms of, like, you know, going from community day to actually having the footage. I think if you're not far out enough, I think it's really going to get you cooked. And not to mention, too, you know, I mean, I don't know if I can say this or not, but truly, like, I guess you could see it through the Play Now stuff. I didn't get it through Play Now.
You got a 50-minute video? Really, you wildin', bro. Well.
So, all things considered, you know, if you're sitting low against a slasher, that's not exactly the way to go in this game.
Oh, definitely. That's what I've been saying this whole time.
Now, but yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff, like, you are seeing Giannis completely dominate himself as far as like the defensive, or you know, like, I mean, this stuff is going pretty hard. Really fast, right there, as you can see, it was about like a half bar. As far as the event.
Could have been a 10-minute video.
Truth be told,
with the summary,
I think rim protectors are just here, bro. Like you can see all these reps of Wemby versus Wemby, or Giannis versus Giannis, or you know, obviously we had, and once again, some time to lab it personally. Is kind of fluke in comparison to being good at now, because I did it not in the Play Now or like anything to do with like this first day embargo. So I'll have to wait until tomorrow at best, and I don't know, we got a lot of builds to show tomorrow too, so I'm not quite sure. But anyway, fellas, I think that's just about it for the video. We didn't do anything else other than what we've showcased here, but a lot of this was pretty thorough information. I have to shout out D-Man one more time too. It was so clutch to get someone who's actually
I've been watching a lot of people right now
on the other end as well.
Can't take up my whole day, brother.
Honestly, you guys didn't even have to care who's who very much in this situation right now. And
that's a good video,
see two slashers that I respect him. Just
shout out to Laker fans. So we got dribbling, we got dunking. We didn't get like a defensive expert yet. Let me refresh this real quick. A lot of people are still uploading and stuff. My first ever NBA game ever. No. I love Boom, but not right now. Need defense, maybe. Look, this guy's live. I could go in there, but he's live streaming. That's not what I'm looking for. I want concise information. Defense, which we need a defensive expert on YouTube. Somebody that's like top tier. It's a true lockdown. They can give their opinions. Oh yeah, we gotta do this. We finally got Kevin Cruz. He put out just a gameplay one. I didn't want to watch that of Play Now. This is him talking about step throughs. I said this is gonna be the meta. I'm guaranteeing it. Hopefully 2K doesn't patch it and we can enjoy it. I wouldn't want to say it. I want it to be broken, but I know it for a fact it's gonna be strong. All right, who do we got? It's like a good defender, guys. Where's Bowser? Bowser got a video. I'm gonna watch that. Nope, you don't got one yet. Hurry up! There he is right here. Come on, brother. Yeah, brother. Yeah, that's crazy. He didn't put out a video yet. Maybe he did. I'm just not seeing it. Hold on. Let's just what's the other guy that's streaming that I just mentioned? Swag. Let's look at Swag. Swag and Bowser, two of my favorite defenders. I don't know if they put out videos. Nope. Come on, bro. That's slap. Both of them. Did they go? I thought they went.
Curry. So I think the new step he launches.
Oh my god. Yeah, these step throughs are gonna be crazy. So Kevin Cruz is the guy that people try to compare me to sometimes as far as his commentary. When I'm on my chill mode, he kind of got that like, yeah, yo, like he's from Hawaii vibe. I'm not a Hawaii guy, I'm a New Yorker, but I do make videos sometimes where I'm just chilling in the cruise control mode and I record. So I love it when my viewers always mention him. They're like, yo man, you remind me of Kevin Cruz, you know that guy? I'm like, yeah, he's cool. So we're gonna see what this step through is. I've said this is overpowered and I'm hoping he demonstrates it in a way that makes the whole community want to make builds like that. Told y'all I might make a post score. Y'all get me the VC in 2K. I need the game and I need 700k VC so we could make these post score builds. First build.
And a lot of people that are into these creative
what is wrong with his mic?
Booker. And I really enjoy putting this to good use. I've had limited time with it to really get used to the system and figure things out, but while they are fun, there are still a number of things you'll have to look out for. So we'll break everything down from how to perform these moves,
gonna be overpowered.
when you might want to use them, and what to avoid in order to not act a fool. So basically, after
I just want to see all the
pump
animations.
faking, push the right stick in 5 different directions. It's usually diagonal and towards the basket, diagonal and away from the basket, or to the left and to the right.
That spin is gonna be so
and you will
crazy.
Get different types of step throughs. And
you don't have to shoot either. You could just pass.
So in this situation right here, I'm able to step through to my left.
So
but one thing I want you to observe right here is that this is a proper use of the step through. I use the right stick input to move away from my defender. Let's zoom in on this right here. There are no shading indicators lit, which means this is not a contested shot. What you'll see after I land is that you will see new shading indicators with different colors with them. If they are white, that means it's an uncontested shot. See those 2 white lines right there? That means it's uncontested. This means that I use the move perfectly to its full potential, using it properly to remain uncontested. This also gives you a new insight on how contests are communicated in the game. There wasn't an option to turn on a lot of more the detailed contests because of some limitations in the build. But as you can see right here, I execute the same move. And what you'll notice is that Jason Tatum actually kept pace with LeBron. LeBron shooting with his right hand here. Jason Tatum's hand is slightly near the ball.
It's not there,
and what you'll see once LeBron lands is that there is an orange contest. You can't fully see how many bars that is, but that means this is a properly contested shot.
Not as effective.
But take a look at this clip right here. I choose the wrong direction with Jokic stepping through towards my defender. Walker Kessler didn't even need to jump, and that was a red contest, meaning it's a tightly contested shot. So
this is all against AI. It's going to be so much easier against players. Players don't know how to guard post scores.
Super important.
Anytime I do post scoring, it's a joke. Dudes just jumping 3 times every play, and I'm like,
I feel like Jalen.
Unless they're like a hardcore
I beat my defender right there, but he was still able to catch up and get an orange contest as a result. Choosing the wrong direction in which you step through is going to be really costly and a game of high risk and high reward. Here, I step through with my left hand hook shot for SGA, still contested. But what you can see right here is that you are able to shoot through contests, similar to how you do it with your moving shots through badge activations. Now, there's a specific badge meant for these step-through animations, but there are also other badges that stack. These are your dead eyes, your smooth operator, what is equivalent to your shifty shooter, for example, your and you'll be needing these badges because, as you can see right here, even though I generated space, probably should have shot it, I went for a step through. Look at the distance
window
and the quickness in
this
how that
really
green
good
window
showing
really narrowed. You're gonna have to have these badges if you're going to make this an integral part of your game. There was a big gap with shooting step-throughs with SGA, versus Chet Holmgren or J-Dub. So it's basically trying to figure out what you can get away with your ratings, your height,
against Booker.
because here right here, even though
Misses
Luka is
off of the left.
he was still able to contest
Outside
that.
Booker.
LaMelo is a cone, but there's way more distance right there to make that shot a little bit more effective. The
That
great
green
thing about
window's
this system is that it allows for
giant.
movement and footwork that is more consistent than in previous years. So you know
If
about
you're
that
open
Kobe
and you're gonna
reverse
get that
spin
type of
right
green
into that
window,
fade.
bruh.
These can
You in
now
the
be
high
consistently
flows, man.
executed in NBA 2K27, unlike how they were sort of
Look, this is more
RNG and
reasonable. The window was a little smaller.
really
on
you
that.
had to
Look at
have
it.
a certain amount of luck in order to execute these. But the main thing you have to look out for is you have to look out for the footwork. Your footwork must be in a way that is planted so that you can spin the opposite direction. Alright, the next thing you need to know is that basically, if you can pump fake out of a shot, you can step through out of them. That includes your go-to shots, your step back jumpers, your post hop shots, for example, your post shimmy fades. A lot of your inside post work
we gonna
can
go
also
crazy with
be comboed with step throughs, but
Damn,
for a
bro.
lot more situations headed towards the basket, I find that up and unders are activated more compared to step throughs. So if you are a big post-up guy, this is one of the ways 2K27 opens up the post game a little bit more. As you can see right here, there are new animations in the post game as
is
well, but I think this is the
overpowered.
biggest improvement to the post game in terms of adding new mechanics. I also like to use this to foul drift.
Butler against
Jimmy Butler,
Jones.
one of his
Takes
favorite
him.
moves, got your lead.
He left some of the audio for the game on in a couple
There's a
clips.
lot of utility and a lot of use for these up and unders, especially if you got players jumping. So the only direction you shouldn't push out of these up and unders is directly down on the right stick. That will just lead you to execute one of these jumpers out of your pump fakes. So the Courtside Report blog basically says 5 different directions. The other thing you also don't want to do is executing this without a dribble move first. What you'll probably execute is an escape dribble hop jumper, as you can see right here. But of course, that's also a
So you can't do
different
it off
way
of
to execute sort of
triple
an
threat.
escape, which is what a step through is supposed to do. So also the other thing you'll notice is that a lot of these animations are generic animations. There isn't a lot of variety in the animations that you get. Bigs will get a certain set of step-through animations. Smalls will get their own set of step-through animations, and there's not a lot of variation. So I think they're generic packages overall as well. And if you are driving out of the post or headed towards the basket, for the most part, a lot of the moves that are activated are actually up and unders. You can get step throughs, but your footwork has to be in a certain way in order to properly execute them. So that's something you have to look out for, right, when you're executing a lot of your post combos.
You might just go with MIDI
But
only.
even for step throughs
Don't
themselves,
use it all the time.
they've also
Just kinda
gotten
stay
a
on
lot
the
of
mid-range.
animation
Use
refreshes.
the 3
You'll see
and the
later
MIDI.
on there's sort of like these
Long
sweeping hook types of
mid-ranges.
step throughs that wasn't available in NBA 2K26.
Doing the close shot and stuff.
One of the ways I
you can't do
really
that
like
when
to
you're playing
combo the
fives as
use
much.
of up and unders is out of hop steps. You can
That's one
also
thing
do
I play
up and
post
unders
scorers.
moving backwards, as you
Playing
can see
fives,
right
they don't
here.
give
So
you no
there's sort of
space.
that
They're like,
little
"Yo, give me the
fading
ball, give me the
animation.
ball."
Luka
It's
likes
like,
to
"Yo,
use
let
this
me-
a
give me
lot
it a
as
second."
well. So there's a lot of
Watch my
variety
clips,
and
dude
a
just
lot more
running
creativity that is
into me,
allowed by
my
the
own
system.
teammates.
So here's an example
While
of
I'm posting
J-Dub
someone up.
basically getting away
Like,
with an up
what
and
are you
under.
doing?
Even the defender
Walk
was there.
away.
Again, relatively low difficulty, but this is me with hands up contest right there against Dylan Harper. A good finisher will be able to really
Them up
still
and
finish
unders, I
against
want to
somebody
see
that
if we
doesn't
can
necessarily
really
have
abuse it.
the highest
And
interior
close
defense
shots
out
will be
there.
crazy.
So what you see right here are again a lot
That
of different
hook.
combinations of what these step throughs and up and unders can do. I like the sweeping hook from Nikola Jokic
I like
right
the
there.
step in,
This move right here from SGA was pretty sweet. but this one is actually my favorite.
Hey, man,
As you can
fun.
see right here, I combo his escape crossover launch into a
Hopefully,
breakdown
nobody's
dribble
mentioning it,
into
but
a
it
reverse
looks like the
spin
hop
into a
jumpers and
sweeping
heroes
hook.
are stronger
So
this
that's
year
the
too.
level of craft that is available in
From what
NBA
I've
2K27. Comboing your hop gathers, making sure that footwork is primed for a spin and into a sweeping hook. Now, you
Need
can
some
also
water.
execute your step throughs for the 3-point line. I'm sure a lot of people will try to do this, and maybe in more casual difficulty game modes like the theater or the park, these are going to be a little bit more viable. I think in play now, it's going to be very difficult. 5v5
He
modes maybe
launches.
so. But
Money from
you can also execute a step through out of a pass fake. I do a
Oh
fade
my
away out
God,
of
a
that pass
three-pointer?
fake step
Nah,
through
bro.
or step away in this case,
That's
so that Steph
disrespectful.
Curry hits a fading three. Again, on all-star difficulty, but just to show you that it is actually possible
All-Star's
in
too
the
easy.
game. I mean, we've also seen Steph do
wanna see
this
that on
type of
Hall of Fame.
stuff, even shooting stuff like floaters from the 3-point line. So it's not outside the realm of possibility. You're just gonna need those badges, and so there you have it. Everything you need to know about step throughs. I think it's a fun addition to the game. Will people use it? I don't know. There's still a very big risk reward component out of it because they're not the fastest animations, but they're very fun. So if you want to put the time in, and I know guys like Black Cobra has basically been doing these types of moves consistently since, I don't know, 2K21, 22. He's gonna love this regardless of the speed, but for most casual users, it's something that you're gonna have to put a lot of time in to memorize the inputs that are needed, be familiar with the footwork needed for most animations, and basically to figure out what you can get away with in terms of shooting through contests, shooting through people, basically.
This new mechanic's interesting.
So yeah, I think a fun addition to the game. I think
All right,
another
that's it
example of
for
2K trying
our
to
buddy
bring more
here.
mechanics into the game, bringing it closer
Shout
to
out to
real life
Kevin
basketball.
Cruz.
I thought it was really
Another
fun.
good clip.
Some of
I
it
like
looked
these
a little
deep
bit
studies.
janky,
This is the type of
like
stuff I have to
these
do
Steph Curry
in-game.
like side hop steps
And
right
kinda
here is
teach
also
all
very
the
slow.
players
So
and go through
yeah, your mileage
coaching
may vary.
them.
I think this is going to be a fun addition to the game and something that will
retired,
continue
baby.
to get
We
better.
retired.
So hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below.
Retiring
I'll see you in the
comes
next
with a
one.
cost.
Peace.
All right, let's make sure we subscribe. I'm already subscribed. Like, comment, my little copy paste. That was a great video because it was very detailed on what I needed to know for step throughs. I watched all the animations. There's certain ones that are just super overpowered. Very easy to kind of figure out. What's up with these people not dropping videos right now? The people I want to drop videos for defense is not dropping. Let me refresh actually. Need defensive players. I've seen everything offensively so far. A lot of it makes sense. So he made a K. He has a KD. Kevin again. Damn. Not that other people can't play defense. It's that, like, I want a full defensive minded player that's like plays lockdown or the back end where we can talk about it. Two people are not putting up videos yet. They're on their live stream. Whack. Is what it is. Yeah, I think we're good, guys. We got most of the information we needed. Really not much else. We just need one more defensive player. Break down the defense as best as possible. We don't got it. We don't. All right, so let's pick one more that's somewhat maybe defensive. Double H does good videos, but this is like these long, every detail videos, no defense. You can do spam too. He's a great player. Not lockdown or anything. either spam or Double H. Choose. All right, so spam says full breakdown of the gameplay. Let's see what he's doing. So he's using play now. He has categorized. H has a lot of dribble stuff. Using a lot of people's footage. Right here. All right, we gotta watch both of them, I guess. Trying to stop
2K27 gameplay is here, and we're going to be showing and breaking down everything in today's video. From rhythm shooting and button shooting, to quick stops, to the new step-through animations, to full-court screens, custom dribbling, everything about skill-wise as a player. Like, you literally just have to go out with the layup, and your player is going to adjust midair and get bigger green windows. So, yeah, especially if you have going to be a lethal option in 2K27, to say the least.
Here we go.
Defense in 2K27. Well, you know, you can't really see the contests in the gameplay because the settings wouldn't change, but the contests are not percent. They're like, it was like semi-open, open, solid contest, heavy contest. That's basically what you would get, which I don't really like. I'd rather have percents to get more of an accurate thing. But yeah, picking up the ball, like the collisions they were talking about, if you have like a lower perimeter defense, you can make people like kind of pick up the ball. They'll lose it on bumps, and it's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about it, and I feel like you can get bumpy on this 2K with a low perim. Like, there was people's mod players that had like a 60 perim that were getting pretty bumpy, and they didn't really have strength either. So I can't imagine with like Bruiser or something. Now, when it comes to steals, honestly, there really wasn't no blitzes. Like, I don't know what 2K is doing. Like, we gotta have blitzes. Lanes, I couldn't really tell just because, you know, obviously CPU versus CPU, and I didn't really play enough user on user, you know, because a lot of them were ones. So there obviously no lanes as ones. So I couldn't really tell you much about lanes. Plucks aren't really in the game. They gotta add blitzes, man, because that's bad. Paint defense, if you had a high interior, you could get some crazy block animations, some crazy like paint defensive animations too, where like you kind of suck them into like a crazy defensive animation. But if you have a low interior defense, like you getting yammed on, you know, so it ain't gonna be looking too good for you. And then besides that, that right stick defense that they were talking about, where you have like aggressive contest, right stick down is like conservative, whatever. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, don't use that shit. That shit is actually awful. They need to get a patch on that ASAP, because if you touch your right stick on defense, say goodbye. You getting blown by, you getting cooked. Okay, it's not gonna be looking good for you. Okay, I don't really have a lot of clips of that to show, but I'm telling you right now, if you touched your right stick on defense, you are going to move like Franklin the Turtle, and you are going to get scored on. That needs to be patched immediately. I was really hoping that defense was going to be kind of crazy. Now, paint defense can be good if you have it upgraded. Sure, I was seeing some good blocks too, but we need better blitz steals. We need more steals, and that right stick defense got to be adjusted. Now, the contest system,
they were playing the AI. Mike Wayne just mentioned, and right now today, after they already made up their videos, he just mentioned that actually AI, you can't steal from them where you could steal from players. Players are not protected. AI is. So when you play against AI, you're not going to be
2K27 early, and this is my full gameplay breakdown. Look, I'm gonna be honest, it's so many things to talk about. I'm gonna just get straight into it. Oh my goodness. Interior defense.
Let's just read his highlights here. It says interior defense isn't good. That's the exact opposite what three people just said. Reach at a good time, opponent will pick up the ball. Okay. Blocks are insane. AI defense is amazing. Hands up mechanic makes it harder to play defense. And that's true. Can't move as fast. You have your hands up in the game. I gotta test it in real life. I feel like I can move pretty fast with my. Gotta do a test. And he says, play defense. Lane steals, blitz steals, pluxies are hard to get. So again, you're playing against the AI. So you can't take any of this stuff official right now, unfortunately. Is what it is, folks. Let me go and put a video quick. Camera back. What's up? Trying to get back to normal, guys. So we watched a lot. Shout out to every creator that I just talked about. This is just a watch party, I guess we call it that. But yeah, here's my recap of what we just saw. Yeah, first of all, the creators do not know for sure what the game is like against other players as much. So it's a different game because Mike Wayne just confirmed it. The speed is slower offline. You can't steal as much. Stealing is protected for the AI, but against players it's not going to be protected. And then finishing is super strong for dunks and layups. But blocks is good if you have high interior and you're tall. Then shooting seems, I would say, a little harder, but it's gonna be pretty much standard. Hopefully they don't do any crazy RNG stuff in there, but that's kind of where I'm at with that. That's the key. That's the answer, in my opinion. And that's the general breakdown. I'm gonna do a full video and kind of going through all of the key things. We lock in for. I'll probably record it right now if I get a chance. I gotta take a meeting. But I think we gave y'all what, 2 hours, 3 hours stream. A lot of good videos. Some really good stuff that I think can be useful. Still much to learn and go and like figure out. Good stuff. And I think everything I learned kind of just confirmed that this game is better than last year in a lot of ways. Gameplay wise, mechanics, functions, and that's important. So we'll see. We will see. Outside of that, just cooling, baby. We'll be back. Excuse me. We'll be back. Maybe tonight if I get a chance. I got a lot of stuff I needed to do. And I gotta take a phone call and then work on something, and then I'll probably stream again tonight, maybe. Just wanting to play video games. I haven't played video games all summer. Played a little bit. Every time you see me stream is when I play it. I pretty much haven't played as much. Just been doing other stuff. We'll be back. We'll be back. Yeah. I'm excited. Now I know about the gameplay. I know enough to know, like, okay, see where it's at, see where we stand for this year. All we got to do now is figure out builds tomorrow. I'm going to do a big stream tomorrow and basically show off all the best builds I can do. And since I'm not doing league stuff, I'm just gonna stream everything and then also share it on social media. Everybody can use it. Y'all not paying me to be your coach. I'm not a gatekeeper anyways. I still shared a lot of stuff every time I get it. So yeah. Yeah, but that's good stuff. I think we know enough to know the game is certified. Really new good mechanics. Really new good mechanics as well. So I'm happy about that. That's what I'm happiest about. Some of the new stuff. All right, guys. I'll take care. Thank you so much for watching, whatever platform you on. Peace and love.